What's up, True Heel Heat? True Heel Heat.
What's up?
True Heel Heat. All hands is on me. Hello, everyone. It's the hardcore legend Mick Foley wishing a nice day to everyone there, right there at True Heel Heat. Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube and Facebook for our WWE WrestleMania 39 Night 1 Roundtable review. We are here to discuss the huge show from last night in Los Angeles, Inglewood, California, SoFi Stadium, night 1 of the 2-night WrestleMania 39. And we have a star-studded roundtable review for you for the show of shows. First up, we got with me the beautiful, the lovely Wendy is here.
Hi everybody. Hi True Hill Heat Chat.
Yes. They are all happy to see you because we also have with you your significant other. You're the better half. He's the more honest half. He is the true draw, Josh.
The better half, I'm the more honest. What the hell?
She's the better half. The female is always the better half. You don't know. You didn't get with the program, man. We also got with us some special guests. First up from the PWTorch. You've seen him on the channel before. My main man, Rich Fann. What's going on, good brother?
Not much. I was surprised that Josh wasn't going to be the lovely Josh and just give him his flowers because that hair is on point. I appreciate you.
There you go. You got some love. See, he thinks you're the better hair half, I guess.
A lot more love than this damn chat. I tell you that much.
And of course, we got with us our main brother here. He is the arch nemesis of Omos. He is the doctor, the professor himself, Professor Kris Ely. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks, man. Good being here. I still not feeling 100%, but yeah, let's get through this. Yeah.
And of course, we want y'all to sound off in the live chat. Give us your thoughts on WrestleMania 39, which was a lot of noteworthy things going down last night on night 1 of WrestleMania. So sound off in the live chat. We appreciate you all. If you're joining us live, you're watching us on demand, show your appreciation back by dropping the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. We had our night 1 watch along last night. We'll have night 2 tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern time, starting with the pre-show, going all the way through to the end, even with the press conference, because Romeo loves to be the 24-hour king and 10-hour streams on all WrestleMania nights, it seems. So he will be here until the end of the press conference to join you and talk all about WrestleMania 39. And of course, sound off in the live chat. If you're with us live, we love to hear from all of you. This is an interactive channel. We'll try to highlight as many comments as possible, but the best way to have your comment highlighted on screen is with the super chat donation. Helps the channel grow, helps the contributors, and it makes sure we highlight your comment. We got Dolores in the chat who says, "What's up, everyone?" We got Vala B in the chat saying, "Sup, THH crew." We in the home stretch for the weekend. Yes, we're at the final day of WrestleMania weekend, unless you count Raw after WrestleMania, which you probably should. He also reminds everyone, don't forget to throw us a like and a subscribe. R. Williams saying, let's get this party started. Chilling with Chase says, I don't know how I'm up. He was live there at SoFi Stadium. I don't know how you're up. You probably have no voice. So thanks for joining us in the live chat, buddy. We got Aubrey James who says, hey guys, I was there last night. Dom and Ray stole the show. That loudest pop next to KO and Sammy. Nobody care about the 6-woman tag match. Damn, already throwing some shade. I love it. I appreciate any type of shade that we can give anybody here. Frantic World saying, what's up, THH and chat? I'm glad that everyone enjoys WrestleMania Night 1. Last night. We also got Vala B, who's with a super chat donation. Thank you so much, Vala B, saying, showing whatever love Josh thinks he's missing with this super chat. I'm with Rich. That hair is great. See, there you go, Josh. We're gonna give you the spotlight, Josh. We gotta show everybody the hair, the close up of the hair.
You see, that was a setup. You see, that was a setup. Thank you for the super chat.
Look at that. Look at that immaculate hair. See, man, you want the love. You have lovely hair. I agree. It's WrestleMania Sunday, so people are feeling good. Even Romeo is up after like falling asleep maybe like 2 hours ago. He's already up. He's at it. We got R. Williams who says, amazing show. Seth Rollins got the Roman Reigns Coliseum Gladiator God treatment. That entrance was just unbelievable. No bigger stage. We got Marcus Ryan with Rhea and Charlotte was the match of the night for me. So many people have different match of the nights. But before we get into the actual show, starting from the top to the bottom, or bottom to top, however you view it, Rich, we'll start with you. One word to give your overall thought on WrestleMania 39 Night 1.
Outstanding.
I like it. Kris?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I liked it.
I love how Kris has to come down from outstanding. It was good. I liked it.
It's all the hiccups I ran into this weekend. It just kind of, WrestleMania was a highlight though, but
there you go. We also got we'll go to Wendy next. What is your overall thought on the on night 1 of WrestleMania?
I would say it was, well, I will take a word from Professor Kris. It was a lot of highlights.
What about you, Josh?
I thought it was fun.
I will go as far to say I think it was one of the best WrestleMania events ever. That's the praise that I will actually go with. I think top to bottom, this really delivered everything that you would possibly look for from a big time WrestleMania event. You had the pomp and circumstance, you had the big moments, the big matches, and I think the stuff that we were looking to deliver, it definitely delivered on this show. We got Chase in the chat, who was there live. Like I said, he says amazing is his one word. So there you go. From the live correspondent, chilling with Chase, he says it was amazing. So let's get into this show. The show started off with our guest host of the show, The Miz, along with the Dogfather of WrestleMania. Yes, the Dogfather. That is the term they use. The Dogfather of WrestleMania, Snoop Dogg in Los Angeles. They were getting the crowd hyped before we got into everything and the show. Snoop Dogg said, let the show start. And it started off with the United States Championship matchup. Austin Theory defending the title against one of the greatest of all time, John Cena, who had a very special entrance with some kids from Make-A-Wish Foundation. This was a cool entrance, even though it wouldn't age well by the end of this matchup. Match got started with basically this was a very basic John Cena matchup where Theory really kind of controlled things for a large portion of the matchup, grounding John Cena. John Cena eventually made his comeback with the 5 moves of doom. He eventually we get a ref bump in this matchup, and Cena locks on the STF with Theory tapping out for the visual submission win. But Cena thinks he's won the matchup. He doesn't realize that the referee is down. He wakes up the referee. When he turns around, Theory nails him with a low blow. Then he hits the A-Town down to get the victory here. This matchup went just over 11 minutes. It was okay. I think it had the best crowd heat of any matchup on this card until like the final 2 matches. Theory, I don't think got much out of this matchup. Overall, I give the match 2.5 stars. This was a lot lower than I thought it would be, especially opening the show. This was just, I would just say, like very basic stuff from John Cena. He did what he had to do, put the young guy over, but did he really after that,
No.
that promo before the show? Before this show, Chris, what was your overall thoughts on the match?
This was lame. I honestly don't think John Cena's heart's in wrestling anymore. Like for the remember the show where he was clowning around the whole show in the crowd, and the Undertaker came out and beat his ass. This. I don't feel any different about Austin Theory before this match than after this match. You know what I'm saying? And the funny thing is Cena said that in his promo. He said that you win this match and it's not going to mean anything. Like Cena probably got paid something like $7 million to come out there and, you know, actually wrestled. I know the match went on for 11 minutes. I think the actual wrestling in it was probably like 6 minutes or something like that. It was whack. This was the lamest part of the show to me. But you know, who cares? And no one's gonna remember this match too. That's what makes it even lamer, in my opinion.
I agree with you there. Wendy, what did you think about Cena versus Theory?
I mean, you would think that it would be a really good match based on like how like everyone compares them like to each other. But I agree, like I expected more. I expected a lot more into the match. So I thought it was okay. I thought, you know, I would expected Theory to like put more offense, you know, like, you know, like see like have him like have people look at him like, oh, like he can really go for like the real top stars, like, you know, like John Cena. But it was okay. I expected a lot more.
Yeah, this wasn't John Cena's best work for sure. Josh, what about you? I think they're frozen. We'll go to to Rich. Rich, what did you think about Cena versus Theory?
Oh, I think Josh is back. I don't want to cut off my fellow Yankees fan.
There you go, Josh. No. Oh, there you go. What did you think about Cena Theory, Josh? It's all good.
It didn't like Cena.
It was basic. It was basic as fuck, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was. I thought it would be better, but I thought it would be better. Yeah, I don't think it did much for Theory, to be honest with you. I think for like the casuals, it probably did. Like, oh, Theory got a big win, but I don't think it did anything significant, to be honest with you.
Nah, I think we're all in agreement there. Rich, what did you think about Cena and Theory to open the show?
Oh, I wish I had my son's headbands or like my never give up like shield to defend Cena against these slings and arrows. Listen, this was probably of all the matches on the card the weakest. And I think that was the smartest thing he ever did in his life. Because if you remember, he was in the match with the movie star that came back to wrestle and prove he still got it. And the man tore everything below his waist in like 3 moves and couldn't do a big movie and had a lot of people mad at him because he had to put a wig on and be Hercules, even though I don't know why you got a black Samoan dude playing Hercules, but that is not my story. In this case with Cena, I think you're right. I think all of you are right. I think Austin Theory wanted to do crazy moves. He wanted to do all this stuff to prove he could go. And John Cena was like, absolutely not. I am going to do the opener.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do what every wrestler in New Japan does when you get past a certain age. I'm going to give you the best of. Like, nobody gets mad when Yuji Nagata is rolling around like that. And then all of a sudden he's a All Japan champion. And then that's a whole different story. But Yuji Nagata rolling around, saluting, doing the eye rolls. That's basically what he did. He did the vet on the down slope. I ain't trying to hide. He's not even hiding the bald spot. Like, I respect a man that is just like, you know what? I'm old. Like, he even put a tweet up or something. I can't remember how John Cena words his tweets, but I think the match reflected how he views himself. Like, he's not going to do too much. And I don't think it's for a disrespect for wrestling, but he don't want to make people think like he did it. Remember the whole U.S. title tournament was him having a midlife crisis and be like, I'm going to get y'all. I might not have wrestled at PWG, but I'm going to show you I can do a Yoshi Tonic, man. Like, come at me. Now he's like, nah, I got the 5 moves. That's all I need right now. Like, I'm not trying to add a 3-pointer to my jumper. I'm just gonna be doing nothing but sky hooks. Nothing but sky hooks.
And then also he did do a match with Roman Reigns where he kind of gave back to him and the company. I don't know what it was about this match outside of what Rich is saying that he didn't do the same thing for Theory, but it just did not feel like he felt like being out there for a long time.
To be fair, that was 2017 when he really gave back. Because even if you go back to the 2021 match with Roman, that was very basic Cena too, but that was main event Cena. He was in the main event, so he did just slightly more than he did here, but he was in main event mode. This was Cena opening match, basic stuff. Like Rich said, he put it perfectly. It was New Japan dad. Cena here. That was him 100%. And we got a 6th member of this roundtable review with us. It is Professor Kris, co-host from the NWA podcast. The Godfather himself, Nate Milton, has joined us. Thank you, good brother Nate, for joining us.
What's going on, SP3? The assembled crew here this morning, and I must correct you, brother. I don't make a habit of getting on people's shows and correcting them, but I have been here the entire time.
I know.
I'm
I know
Black
you.
Cena.
I know
I'm
you.
Black Cena on these streets. You can't see me, brother.
I had to bring you at the end. You had to give you the proper intro. I had to let everybody get their stuff in. See, I'm like Cena. I'm letting everybody get their stuff in, and then I'm doing the 5 moves of doom, which is my intro. That's my intro. That's my 5 moves of doom. But thank you for joining us. How did you feel about the opener of WrestleMania 39 Night 1?
I think Kris and Rich, being men of academia, can relate to what I'm about to say, Sid, but I'm sure they've had that one student in their university, in their college, that is a good student, but there's always that one like 9 a.m. physics class that he skips or she skips. And the reason is, Kris, Rich, they don't give a damn about Theory. And that's how I felt last night. I didn't give a damn about this man, Austin Theory, on these streets. And it's like, it's not his fault. The kid is talented, right? We've seen him be good other places, but for whatever reason, I don't know if it was the vent stuff last year or what, he has not connected with the audience. And so when you're talking, Kris, about Cena kind of coming in and going through the motions, it's like, why should I put in overtime for this dude? I'm Peacemaker. You know what I'm saying? I'm a made man on these streets. Why should I, dye my hair? I ain't going to do that. You're going to see all of this bald spot, in the back. I'm going to give you what I got. I'm not even going to run down to the ramp because it's a long-ass ramp. I'm going to give you a brisk jog. That's what you're going to get on WrestleMania Night 1 from John Cena. But it was what it was, man. I think this is the match that was probably going to be the down part of the show, wherever you put it. So to kind of get it out of the way first, I think was a smart decision. Johnny did his thing, had the Make-A-Wish kids out there. We know what this man is about. And he came down, gave us a visionary win. and then he lost. And much to his promo before Mania, does this do anything for Austin Theory? Nah, I don't think so. Even when they brought this man back later in the show to try to give him a backstage interview, I'm like, we got things to do, kid. Like congratulations on the win, but ultimately, I don't think this means a lot for Austin Theory.
I thought it made him look lamer than he did. I think if he just won and forgot about it, I thought that promo did absolutely nothing for him.
He's like, let me remind you about my lackluster match from earlier.
Yeah.
You're going to believe in this theory. You're going to believe. Listen, I've been saying for years when I first saw him, unlike Christian Casanova, I saw Christian Casanova and I was like, this dude's going to WWE. I don't know when. Like I was reviewing Beyond for the Torch. I was like, I don't know when, but this dude looks like a WWE wrestler. I saw Austin Theory and thought he looks like a WWE wrestler. Then that man looked me dead in the eye. WrestleMania, the New Orleans WrestleMania weekend Kris was talking about, where Cena chased the Undertaker and was lazy. And that man, I looked at him and he had on Theory unproven on his tights, and I was like, that means like you're doubting yourself. And he's like, what do you mean? And that was the moment I knew my man did not understand what was going on with that whole thing. Because I was like, wait, your whole gimmick is that you can't prove that you're as good as you are? Like, is that the thing now? Or did you just like the name Theory because your first name's Austin? You just wanted something AT for A-Town. Like, I think that was it. And so when he started doing, I would not be surprised, and I know we're not going to jump because this is only night one. I would not be surprised he does this bragging on Monday and he loses the title from somebody who gets pulled up from NXT like Braun Breaker.
I totally see that. I totally see that happening. Him being braggadocious on Monday Night Raw, doing the open challenge, and then dropping the title to Braun Breaker. And you brought up a good point, because I know me and Josh and I know Wendy went to a lot of like Battle Club Pro and East Coast shows back in like 2018, 2017, and we've seen Theory from the very beginning. We've seen Christian Casanova, Carmelo Hayes from the very beginning. The first guy I ever interviewed on this channel is Austin Theory, and I've seen him grow, but I feel like I've seen a lot more of him and saw more of his potential in Evolve than I had since he's come to WWE. They really watered him down and took a lot of his moves away, and they're trying to fit him into this John Cena mode when everything about him reads young Randy Orton. To me, I don't know about y'all, but it reads young Randy Orton more than young John Cena.
And the biggest problem with them, I'm sorry, go ahead, Josh.
No, because I was gonna add on to the point that you made about watching Theory. Like, seeing his high points that I've seen so far has been from like Evolve. For some reason, like in WWE, I haven't seen the same guy that I've seen in Evolve. When it comes to Christian Casanova, Carmelo Hayes, he was actually one of the first guys I helped book for a show. So I already knew he had potential. The only thing he always had to work on was his mic skills. And now you're kind of seeing that come together. And I kind of see, even in NXT, I kind of see more from him than I've seen with Theory. And to me, that's kind of a problem. Where Carmelo Hayes, you see how they're bringing him up the way that they're doing in NXT compared to Theory already in the main roster. Even a couple of weeks ago when Cena said that he's ruthless aggression Cena, and that period happened within 6 months, and Theory is already in year 4 in WWE.
Right.
Like,
and the thing with that, I agree with Josh. And the thing with that is, one, it's WWE trying to tell us that Theory is good instead of the fans like seeing that he's good. And then two, he hasn't had he doesn't benefit from a corny babyface run to turn him into a cocky heel. He's starting off as a corny heel, and like with Randy Orton and Rocky Maivia, they started off as corny baby faces, has found their voices like cocky heels, and I just don't see how you fix this trajectory with Theory in the immediacy.
The last person that had that sort of role where I was chosen by Vince McMahon and you need to like me, was pre-firing Drew McIntyre.
Right. Yes.
That doesn't help. It doesn't help you. And especially now with everything, Vince, with the accusations and the firings and the retirements and the returns, the concern is so many other people on that roster have things that they can easily sell. And I think to Wendy and Josh and Sid's point, there's a point with who Austin Theory was in the Indies that you need to tap into in a way that they have never done it in WWE. Because even in NXT, they didn't do it.
Yeah.
And NXT was in that Mr. In Between, and he was kind of stuck with all the changes going on around him. I think if they put the energy into him like they did into like using some of Sean's old gimmicks for the women's roster on NXT, like look into your bag of tricks, Triple H. What was one thing you really enjoyed about your run? What was one thing you liked about Randy and Evolution? What was something that might not necessarily be allowed in terms of how Randy crossed the line, but you can get up to the line and still not lose situation? Because my concern is with some of these guys like him, they're going to keep the establishment folks in place until they make a sale or they make a television deal. And they're not going to take time to develop people. It's kind of like that football team that they know the GM's on the way out. So he's like, I'm not drafting no dude. I'm just going to trade this for a vet and I'm going to keep it moving. So,
man. Yeah. I mean, I'm hopeful that Theory can come out of this better, but it feels like he's prepping to be torn down to get built back up again, and they just did that with the worst Money in the Bank cashing of all time. So
worst of all time, yes.
like to Rich's point, SP3, like I'm glad that man Rich Fann brought up football, because it's almost like we on the same page, me and Rich Fann. It's almost like we showed up today in the same Honda. We on one accord, brother, because I'm gonna let that sink in.
I got
because Austin Theory to me feels like Baker Mayfield. Like the kid obviously has some talent. We've seen him be good other places, but at the end of the day, this is a big business. And do I want to invest in you? Do I want to invest my money if I'm the company? Do I want to invest my time if I'm a viewer in you? And it's like, just like with Baker Mayfield, where I'm not sure if he's good or if he sucks or if he's right there in the middle. I'm feeling the same way about Austin Theory, because it's like there's so much wrestling out there to watch, and I could spend time watching your match for 7 minutes and being mildly entertained, or I could find something else to watch. And that's the point where I'm at right now with Austin Theory. It's like, yeah, you won the U.S. title, good for you. You know, you can put that on the back of your Topps card or whatever. But I'm not excited, you know, until that man LeBron Breaker shows up and takes that strap from him. Sid.
I'm ready for LeBron on Monday. Let's go to match 2 on this card. Before the matchup, they had Titus O'Neil on commentary, the global ambassador of WWE. And we had what a lot of people were feeling was going to be one of the more lackluster matches on either card of WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2. But I would say this is the match that overachieved the most on this card, which was the Fatal 4-Way WrestleMania Showcase Tag Team matchup with Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders versus the Street Profits. The Viking Raiders got some offense very early on, but they posed for way too long after they did their offense, and this led to Braun Strowman taking them out. We then got Chad Gable with his showcase moment of the matchup, pulling off a very impressive Chaos Theory German suplex on Braun Strowman. Then we had all the big men doing big moves off the top rope. Ivar tried a moonsault, but Angelo Dawkins moved, but that led to Braun Strowman hitting a big old splash off the top rope. Otis hits a big World's Strongest Slam on Strowman. They did a big, massive Tower of Doom spot with Ricochet flying off the top rope with a crossbody to lay everybody out. We then get Braun Strowman with the big train across the ring, but he gets wiped out by Angelo Dawkins. Ricochet wipes off Dawkins and Eric from the Viking Raiders with a huge springboard shooting star press. And then finally, he tries the shooting star press on Angelo Dawkins in the ring, but Dawkins gets his knees up, leading to Montez Ford with the big frog splash to give the Street Profits the victory. This was all action. This was nothing but a spot fest, but it fit in very well. That's all it really needed to be. It went 8.5 minutes. I thought this was a really strong match, a very fun match. match to get the crowd into things after kind of being let down by the finish of the previous matchup. So I think it did everything it needed to do. I gave it 3.5 stars. Nate, let's start with you. What did you think?
Yeah, this match way exceeded my expectations. I think going into WrestleMania, I was just like, okay, it's going to be a match, whatever. But seeing the work that these teams put in, I was very impressed. I thought that, it meant something, right? It's just more than a throwaway match, because now coming out of this, you're like, okay, there actually are some teams in this company that can do some work. And so I loved a lot of those big spots. Like Chad Gable came off looking great. Like every team had a moment where they got some shine. And I thought that was great booking. And then, shout out to that man Dawkins, because it's like we'd have seen this man, Braun Strowman, every time. That's what he do. He run around the ring and he hit people. He's going in the same direction, Rich. He's not changing directions. So somebody should come up and meet that unstoppable force with an immovable object. And so I like that spot. And I predicted the profits going into it. So I'm glad that I was right.
Yeah.
Good call right there. Wendy, what did you think about the men's wrestling WrestleMania showcase 4-way?
I mean, I agree. I thought it was just gonna be like just a regular fatal 4-way, nothing special. But they actually turned it around. Like they turned it out. Every team showcased their skills. Like everybody was a highlight. I agree. I really like that scene, that part where Strowman was going around and then he thought he was gonna get everybody, and then Angela was just like, "Oh, you thought?" It's like, you thought you would get me.
Yeah.
I thought it was like just to showcase, like, hey, like you ain't the only big man in this match, like,
Right.
I'm Dawkins, like, I thought that was really cool. I thought the match was great. I thought it was gonna be okay, but it was actually really good, and I'm happy that the Street Profits win. I got my win, so it was
Very, very well done. I stupidly chose Viking Raiders, who posed too long, and that's why they lost. Josh,
Sid, there's one rule before Josh goes. There's one rule. The only Valhalla you trust is Assassin's Creed. You can't be going with no Viking Raiders.
or Taya Valkyrie's finisher, Road to Valhalla. Josh, what did you think about the 4-way?
I mean, it was a fun matchup. I really thought Strowman stuck out to me because all the spots he was taking up and then basically putting everybody over. I thought that was really good of him to do that with Gable, with Dawkins. He did that. Yeah, it was a fun matchup. I didn't even know this match was happening, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not so much I had no expectations for it. I was like, oh, this is another matchup they had. I forgot about it. Cool. And I mean, it was fun.
Yeah.
It accomplished what it needed to, and I do agree. It was kind of like, oh yeah, this match is on the card, and I love commentary being like, oh yeah, the person who wins this should probably be in position to get a shot at the title. Why can you announce that beforehand?
Right.
And say make that the number one contendership.
Chris, they gave this match no stakes. Unlike my man Josh, though, I had zero expectations for it. I picked the Street Profits to win only because Nate and Andrew picked them to win. I cared less about this match going in. I thought that the spot face was good. The spot fest was good in this match. I actually like Braun Strowman in this kind of role better than I do as a main eventer. I just don't think that's what he should be in WWE. I think what they did in this match, though, was very, very good, and it woke that crowd up because it looked like they were just not into the Cena theory stuff, and this match brought them back and it set the tone for the rest of the show. So I liked it. I give the first match 1 star, and then I give this one I give it about 3.5.
Yeah, I think it was more. I thought the crowd was very loud for Cena in Theory. I think they were just brought down by the Theory win. That's why I
Yeah.
was like, that's why I really thought Cena was going to win
I
the
thought
opener
that
because of that.
I thought the decibel level just got increasingly worse in that match. Like at the beginning, it was loud, and then it just kind of start falling down.
Petered out when they realized the heel was
Yeah,
was going to beat the Make-A-Wish poster child.
Yeah,
Like,
right,
what are
right.
we doing?
It's like when my Lakers used to beat the ass of the Kings in the Arco Arena. You know, it's like at first it was loud because the Kings fans thought they were going to win, and then my Lakers put the beating on them, and that's not going to happen. Yeah.
Game 7 of the 2002 Western
Yes.
Conference Finals. Nate, what did you think about the 4-way?
I mean, you already asked me, but I will reiterate. You know,
I meant to say Rich. I meant,
you know, like I can see how you can get me and Rich confused, brother. You know, just two men of academia. You know, Professor
One
Fan
could even call me like Evil Nate because I got the beard. I'm not wearing my glasses this morning. It's okay.
That's mirror
it's like one of
universe,
those special episodes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Rich, what did you think about the 4-way?
Multiverse.
Yeah, I'm Earth 6225, Nate. It's like, what is it? Harry Potter? Like, if you put Rich Fan and you pull out the anagram, and it's like they put my full name down. It's like, like.
Rich, what did you think about the men's showcase?
I thought this was fun. I thought this was really cool. I saw there was a comment that the women might not cop it. And anything is. I'm going to go with the Kevin Gunn. Anything's possible at this point. The way they put this show together. I thought the Chaos Theory was probably the highlight of that match for me because that was an illustration of how much Braun could have doubled down on his crap, but instead, not only did he clearly with this tag team at Ricochet, one of the main points when he was as an independent wrestler of his ire, not necessarily intentionally, but now he's tagging up with one of those flippy do guys from the indies that he made fun of. And he let one of those small guys give him one of the greatest moves I've ever seen in a WrestleMania ring, especially given the size disparity. So I thought this was great. And someone else mentioned, if it were War Machine, I'm there all day. Viking Raiders, can't trust them.
Not so much there. They did a quick backstage segment with the Up Down Down crew talking about the simulation for WWE 2K23 to lead into the next matchup, which was Seth Rollins going one-on-one with Logan Paul. Logan Paul gets professional wrestling. This man had one of the most over-the-top entrances I ever remember. With he does the Shawn Michaels zip line, the tribute to WrestleMania 12. He's got the Prime mascot with him. You get Seth Rollins, who comes out with his own big time entrance where he has a conductor, musical composer, Jasper Randall, who is conducting the crowd into doing the and eventually the crowd got it. The crowd
eventually.
They finally cut out the canned O's that they had at the beginning when they finally were able to get on cue with it. And Seth had the big red jacket taken out of Rihanna's closet from the Super Bowl. But all of that withstanding, when the bell rings, this felt like a big-time WrestleMania singles match, and Logan Paul deserves a whole bunch of credit for that. Yeah. He was pulling out freaking submissions like the Cobra Twist at one point. Here, you get him flying around. He hits the buckshot lariat, almost as good as Hangman Adam Page. I'm not going to be one of those ridiculous people who says it's better than Hangman Adam Page. He does a nice springboard into a cross body at one point. Seth figures out that the way to get to Logan Paul is to work over the hand. And when they're outside, he sees Logan Paul is by the steel steps. He gives him a stomp on the right hand, which it would come into play a little bit later. Back in the ring, Paul reverses a pedigree, and they start trading cradles until Logan Paul blasts him with the right hand. But his selling of the right hand was great, and he wasn't able to get the cover. So Seth was able to kick out when he eventually did get it. We get Paul going for a stomp at one point, but Seth catches him and hits a nice little sit out power bomb. Logan just milking the crowd for every reaction he could possibly get. I love the way he was doing this. It looks like Seth is going to get the victory, but then the Prime mascot pulls Paul out of the way, out of danger, and he gets his face ripped off of the mask, and it's none other than fellow YouTuber and business associate of Logan Paul, KSI, which this reveal was great. This reveal was just sports entertainment shenanigans. Yeah. It was just a great cameo spot. They eventually team up on Seth. They get him onto the announce table with KSI pulling out the phone and taking a selfie video. And the timing of this was a masterpiece. This is a masterpiece of timing. You have a Logan Paul on the top rope drinking the Prime energy drink, and as soon as he goes to launch off, Seth pulls KSI into the way, so Logan Paul gives him the 5-star vlog splash through the Spanish commentary table. We get that was just very clever how they pulled that off. Back in the ring, Rollins is able to hit the pedigree for a great near fall. The crowd is on their feet at this point. Logan Paul then gets the advantage, and he hits a go to sleep and no CM Punk chance. So that's a big time thumbs up from me. He then goes for a frog splash for a near fall. Logan Paul then sets up and he tries to do a coast to coast, but Rollins catches him with a super kick in midair, and he follows up with the stomp for the victory here. This was just a great matchup that had all the sports entertainment shenanigans mixed with just an athletic bout from these two men that delivered in a big way. It went 16 minutes, 16 seconds. I give this match 4.25 stars. Logan Paul might be one of the most naturally gifted guys that have come into professional wrestling. Like I would fire 80% of the Performance Center and get more Logan Pauls. This guy is like a natural because his selling is great, his heel shenanigans is awesome, all the cameos that he can get, that's great for the WWE, but his timing is top notch, main event level timing. Rich, what did you think about Rollins versus Paul?
I thought this was awesome. This is probably one of my favorite matches of the night, and I would say, even to your point, SP3, as much as we talk about the Four Horsemen, that first generation of FCW/NXT, the Nick Khan, Triple H, all influencer class of 2019 to 2022, between him, Bad Bunny, and freaking the king of all media, the master of the punts himself, at McAfee. Yes. Like, I'll pick those three over anybody on the roster in NXT right now. But there's no argument. Like I never thought I would see the day where Bad Bunny is gonna basically do his own like WrestleMania week show in Puerto Rico to help Puerto Rico, and WWE's like, yeah, we on that with you. Like nobody else came down, but he's gonna. That's magnificent. And so when you get to this match, Seth Rollins and his wife had a lot to say about they didn't appreciate that this dude was gonna be on the Shane McMahon Trust Fund tour, doing matches, getting shots, doing spots, going home and relaxing. Mm-hmm. But they have to realize, just like Becky did playing ball with Ronda, when you have a star like this, when you have an influencer like this, like I can go downstairs in my kitchen and show you the cases of Prime that my son guzzles down after hockey. And I was so angry because I'm like, what is this crap? I told Wade, what is this crap? I turned over, the bottle's like, this stuff is actually better than Gatorade. So I don't want to turn this into a Prime commercial. Don't get me wrong. But this match, if Logan Paul, if he's as good as this as he has been, there is no limit to which they can make this. Like, I wish there was a world where Logan Paul had the money in the bank, so we could wonder: is he going to cash in on Devontae? Is he going to take that American dream and turn it into the American dream of the 2023, become a YouTuber, and then win the title? Like, that's a story. And then, him and Sami could be bashing. But instead, like, he's on that slow percolator. If they can get him signed long term, and it isn't just a lark every couple of months, they got something with him. Mm-hmm. And Seth, this week, he talked about, I should have been that guy. He talked a lot about the way that, it's funny, we heard 2 Shield members talk this week about using the old Jordan thing, the Jordan documentary with Isaiah Thomas of, I wasn't the one. I had the criteria, but I wasn't the one selected. And so I need Seth in 2023 to have his comeuppance as well.
I agree there. Nate, what did you think about Logan versus Seth?
Hell of a match. Starting with the entrance, like Paul's entrance was fantastic. Perfect smarmy heel. Seth, they could have tightened it up a little bit. I think he could have taken a page from Jericho and brought a choir out with the conductor.
Yes.
And maybe that would have helped the crowd get on time, get in rhythm. But then when you talk about the match itself, I think it was a very intelligently booked match, because it played to Logan Paul's strengths. And again, Logan Paul is somebody who has a lot of natural abilities, it seems, but also they give him the freedom of the playbook that they wouldn't give just somebody coming up off NXT, right? That they wouldn't just give somebody coming up on main event. Like, he gets, as Rich said, he gets the Shane McMahon playbook, like all sorts of reverses and flea flickers and jet sweeps. That's not in the regular playbook for these WWE superstars Logan Paul gets. And so, Kris and I talked about this on the NWA podcast with Andrew last week. As much as I have no love for either of these Paul brothers, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Rand Paul, I hate all the Pauls. Logan has it, and it's something that a lot of folks coming from outside of this business don't have. And you see it with somebody like a Bad Bunny, like Rich said. You see it with somebody like a Pat McAfee, or going back to the TNA Impact days, D'Angelo Williams. Like that one match D'Angelo Williams had, like that was amazing. And so when you've got a celebrity that gets the business, you have to tap into that. And so I'm not going to go as far as Kris did to say this man is going to be a world champion, because damn all that. But this was a great match, and I think both guys, gained something coming out of this match.
Kris, what did you think?
So I was saying that to add context to this, I was saying that Logan Paul was going to be a world champion, not because I want him to be a world champion, but that's where I think Triple H and Vince see this guy. I thought the match was good. And again, I do not like the Paul brothers. I like KSI better than I like the Paul brothers. I think KSI has a lot more substance on his YouTube channel than those 2 dorks. But I like the over the topness of Paul was funny. It reminds me of if you guys read comics, there's this character Booster Gold, and he was like dressed like with the sunglasses and all that. I thought that was just genius, and I liked the match. I really did like the match. I liked all the shenanigans in the match. I thought it added to the match, and I'm glad that they gave the W to Seth Rollins. And I'm going to say this again. I will not be surprised if Logan Paul gets the world championship before the year is up or before next year is up, because I do think, I don't necessarily agree with this, but I do think this is where the company sees him going.
So you just gonna have this man out here beating Devontae, Kris? That's what we doing?
Oh yeah, I think I could see that too. I could see him beating Cody if Cody wins the world title. I could see him at least feuding.
I approve that.
Be your own people sometimes, Sid.
I approve that message. I approve that message. Don't get fooled by the Devontae hype. Wendy, what did you think about Logan versus Seth?
I thought the match was great. From the entrances, like Logan doing his tribute to Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 12, to Seth Rollins looking like a character from the Hunger Games.
Yeah, that's what he looked like. I was trying to put it into words, but that's what it was.
Yeah. From there to like the match itself, they're both great. And from the appearance to KSI, to be honest, I thought it was gonna be his brother. But then when I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, Jake wouldn't be in that costume. So it made sense for it to be KSI. I thought it was great. It was a really great match. It had that main event potential. Like it would have been a main event match for WrestleMania. It was great. I loved it.
I'm surprised KSI was able to do that selfie stuff with those gloves on his hand, because I can't mess with a smartphone with gloves on. I just can't do it.
I agree. Josh, what did you think about Seth versus Logan?
I mean, it was a fun matchup. At this point, should we really be surprised with what Logan Paul does? It's just more the fact, you know what it is, because I noticed this on the stream last night, right? Where everyone was like, oh, when do we give Logan his credit, right? Which to be honest, I think he's gotten enough credit. It's just Logan Paul in general is just a very unlikable guy. So I don't think in that aspect he's ever going to win the crowd over, because he's just very unlikable. And it's just, there's factors behind that. So like, if you follow like his YouTube history, he did something like really horrific in Japan. That's really ruined his reputation. But then also the last few months, he had this crypto scam going on as well. So there's things that makes him very unlikable, that I don't think he's ever gonna win the crowd over that way. But he's just one of those guys where he's just good at wrestling. He doesn't necessarily need to love the business, because I think a lot of wrestling fans, they tend to gatekeep that aspect, like, oh, if you don't love the business, then you can't be a wrestler, which is not really true, in my opinion. I mean, we've seen that with Brock. I don't think Brock loves the business. Brock is just really good at it, so he makes lots of money off of it. And I think Logan's in the same aspect, which I'm fine with it. I'm like, hey, he's good at it, and he found a way to make money off of it. I'm okay with it. So, but the match itself, I mean, it was great. KSI, I actually like the fact that it was KSI it was him and not Jake. Just because we already seen Jake. We already seen that aspect. So it's not like a surprise. As you KSI, it was more of a surprise just because he's been trying to fight Jake. And that spot was perfect, the way he took it. And I was trying to see, like, when he was doing the selfie, I wanted to see the footage. I'm like, yo, I want to see how that looks on the thing. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was a great match.
Yes, this really delivered, and it felt more like the old Shawn Michaels mid-card showcase matchups. That's where Seth is kind of finding his place on these WrestleMania cards, as the showcase singles match, and it felt like a WrestleMania big time matchup with the entrances and everything. But we had more to come. Our third match on the card was the 6-woman tag team matchup of Damage Control, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky versus the Dream Team of Beckstream, Becky Lynch, and Lita, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, and WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus. They had a nice little Sin City inspired entrance video before the three ladies came out, and they came out, and Trish Stratus, my God, the fountain of youth. She found Sting's fountain of youth, because she has not aged since 2004, 2005 from how she looked on this night. The match started really, really slow. There wasn't a lot to it in like the opening, I would say like 5 to 8 minutes, but down the stretch it really picked up, especially when they went to the outside and Trish and Lita helped Lita and Becky helped Trish hit her Hurricane Rana on Dakota Kai into the rest of Damage Control. We had a big spot fest where everybody was hitting big moves, and then they went to the outside where Io Sky hit her big moonsault off the top rope to the floor that really got the crowd into the matchup. Finally, the the baby faces took control with Lita hitting a twist of fate, Trish hitting the chick kick, and then the Stratisfaction, followed by Lita with the big moonsault, and then Becky Lynch and Bayley kind of took their center stage, and Becky hit a avalanche man slam off the middle rope for the victory here. This was solid. It got the crowd into it late and really picked up and turned out to be a solid matchup, even though it wasn't looking that way, especially in the early portions, because my God, is Lita on a treadmill that's on one. It's on one. He's like walking. It's like very, very slow, especially when she tries to do the head scissors. It's like, just stop doing it. Just stop doing it, because it very much choreographed by how slow you're doing it. But like I said, it picked up towards the end, so I gave it 3 stars. Let's start with Wendy. What did you think about the 6-woman tag?
It was good. I liked it. From the entrances, of course, Damage Control. They're very their gear very cohesive. I kind of expected it a little more with the other team, because it just looked very like, you see Lita and Becky, and then you see Trish is like a whole different outfit, even though she looks amazing. She looks amazing. It started off slow, but it picked up, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the match. I feel really bad for Damage Control. They can never they're like a team where you expected they'll dominate, and it's like the opposite. Like, they're getting dominated. You know, it's like, when are they ever gonna get a huge win?
Never.
But it was a good match.
It's clear. This is a team that was put together to lose matches. Like, when you really look at the Becky Lynch feud, especially, Becky comes back, beats them at Survivor Series. She wins the steel cage matchup. She wins the tag team titles from them, and then wins here. It's embarrassing at this point. I'm never picking Damage Control again. Josh, what did you think about the 6-woman tag?
I mean, that was all right. It's just Lita's terrible. I mean, I think a lot of people just put too much. I mean, people put too much faith in her because of the match she had last year, which was, I mean, it was presentable. It was a good matchup she had last year, but it's been downhill ever since. I'm just being honest. Like, it's been downhill ever since. She's just not good anymore. It happens. You get older, you just, and with Lita, what it is that with Lita, back in the day, where she could get away with stuff was that because she did a lot of good high spots, she did stuff like that. Now at her age, she can't do those things, so she kind of lost. Like, there's nothing good with her now, and you know, that's just, you know, Becky has to carry her now, especially with those tag titles.
She lost the magic that made her.
Trish looked good though. Trish, in comparison, looked good.
I mean, she was good. At this point, that's a given, at least, because you know, she don't age. She still looks good in the ring too. So, I mean, you know, if they go with this angle that they've been talking about, like her turning heel and facing Becky Lynch at SummerSlam, I'm okay with that. The heel turn, I don't know about that, but I'm okay. Like, if they end up having a matchup at SummerSlam, so I look forward to that.
Yeah, I do too. Chase saying, I felt bad for Damage Control. You can hear a pin drop when they came out. I legitimately heard Bayley singing their song. That's how silent the crowd was when they came out.
Last year. Remember, this is something I said last year with SummerSlam, when I was like, I don't know, this crowd wasn't really behind them, and I really don't have that much faith in this stable, and look what's happened. I mean, people could talk.
I think the return got a response, but by like the next show, it was just like diminished a bit. Yeah.
Not only that, but then, you know, they win the tag titles, but then, you know, they're meaningless. Nobody talks about that, so you can't even use that as a, you know, as something to try to like. Nobody talks about it.
Yeah,
it's true. Nate, what did you think about the 6-woman tag?
So many thoughts. I'm gonna try to go in chronological order here, Sid. So first of all, yes, not a single pop. It was like, you know, that bubble wrap that's already been popped when Damage Control came out. That's the type of sound we were hearing from the crowd. I dug the Sin City intro for the baby faces. The only thing that would have made that better is if they would have played the Hives, Throw It On Me. If you know, you know, back in the day, Timberland with the Divas.
That's what makes it funny.
You're right. Trish Stratus doesn't age. Not a page out of one of Rich's partner's books, but there's no expiration date on that milk. I don't know if it's almond or soy, but that milk ain't never going bad for one Miss Trish Stratus. The match itself, though, was a journey. Like, I think there were some parts that were clunky. I'm not gonna put it all on Lita because we done took too many shots at Lita. I feel we piling on now to this legend. But there were parts that didn't quite work. The match went longer, like much longer than I expected it to go. But at the end of the day, I predicted, when you came on Nubian Wrestling Advocates SP3, like this was patented for that WrestleMania feel-good moment spot. We're going to give the Legends a big win here. Damage Control feels like a person in Chicago that doesn't own a car because all they take the L. And they took it again. And so it's like, at this point, what is the point of Damage Control? Like, Bailey's great, Io's great, Dakota's great, but we haven't seen them be great together. And so at this point, they're just a stable that should be intimidating, should be imposing, but they're going to lose. And so I thought the match was fine. It wasn't as good as the men's showcase tag team match, which is something I never thought I would say going in to this card. But it was fine. It was fine. Nobody embarrassed themselves, not even Lita, no matter how much you try to throw dirt on that woman's name, Sid.
Hey, the moonsault looked good. I'll give her that.
That was me too. I'll take the that. But I stand by what I said. Stand by it.
Kris, what did you think about this 6-woman tag?
I think, like, I went to the bathroom during this match, but I did come back. I just don't think Lita was booked to her strengths at this stage in her career. There were probably some moves that she probably just shouldn't have tried. Trish Stratus is I used to do the Trish Stratus yoga. I didn't do the DDP bullshit because I don't need all that masculinity and testosterone in my yoga. So, and and I know if she does that stuff every day, so it's just gonna give her a cutting edge above the rest. But I wasn't like super offended by this match. I just didn't. I thought it was a good letdown match to get us ready for what was to follow. So I didn't hate this match. I just didn't really care that much about it.
He's like, I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it.
I didn't hate it. Did you like it more than the Theory match, Kris?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Rich, what did you think?
I feel it much like my man John. I gotta come out with the shield for my gal Lita. Like, I think for her, and I noted it when they did the Hardy Boys tribute spot, and how close I think it was Becky was, because she was basically. It was Trish. Okay, it was Trish. Okay, yeah. First of all, that shows have somebody that will ride for you and know your limits, because she was like, she knew, like, I'm not my friend. And the thing I want to point back to is, and it's not to take a shot at her, it's her broken neck. Like, she's doing all of this and she's already past borrowed time. She is in, like, any wrong move can mess her up. And so much like with Cena, I'm like, I'm rooting for the folks that got back pain when they get up right now. Anybody that's within the sound of my voice, and that feeling, like, that's where I'm with you right now. And so I think that's one of the things they worked around. But the bigger issue is the continued devaluation of Bailey and Damage Control as a whole. And that's what made even that lack of action stand out even more. And, we can talk about generational stuff, like the Lita model of Team Extreme. Like, you look at Io Shirai outside of WWE, Io Sky here. If you showed all of us back then Io, it would have been like when Marty McFly went back and tried to play rock and roll, and people were like, this is like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, don't worry, in like 20 years, you're going to think this is awesome. But yeah, that's why I was with the match. I just really appreciated that it was a clash of eras, and they actually gave flowers to the women, because I think for so often the women in particular, when it came to these legend type situations, always got left out or always got diminished and only brought back for, like, they could have done like if this was back in the day, this would have been like the Stacy Keibler special where she uses her legs to distract and the Dudley Boys win their 38th title. But it's like, to me, it sounds like some warped version of Progress where we have now an older tag team mixed with a vet, and that's the women and not the guys. Like, we've seen this a million times. Like, see Sting and Darby.
Exactly. That's true. That's true. But I think that the whole show from here steps up significantly. And that's the reason why I'm saying it's one of the best ever, is because of these final 3 matches. First was the clash of father versus son, Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. First up, we had Bad Bunny on Spanish commentary. He got a nice little crowd response. And then we had the entrance of the night, ladies and gentlemen, as my man Dom Mysterio had a full-on music video of him pulling up out of prison. He gets into the corrections van, the prison inmate van, and he shows up in full new gear. He comes out with the Rey Mysterio mask. He was escorted to the ring by 4 officers. This made him feel like a Hannibal Lecter type of heel. This was a significant upgrade for Dom. This felt like a WrestleMania top heel type of entrance. I love, I gotta say, I give a lot of credit to Triple H. I gave yesterday on True Heat for his work with this feud. But, you know, Dom and Rey deserve a lot of credit. But the other person who deserves a lot of credit is Michael Cole. Because Michael Cole is so indignant to this whole thing. He's screaming how this was the most ridiculous thing he's ever seen. He says that Dom hasn't earned the right to wear a lucha mask. Graves has to tell him to calm down. And then Rey pulls up with Snoop Dogg in a damn lowrider to nothing but a G thing. I was like, oh shit. Then it transitions into Eddie Guerrero's theme song. We see the back of the lowrider saying the game is to be sold, not to be told. Then he gets into Rey's entrance and they introduce him as a WWE Hall of Famer. He comes out in the red and yellow while Dom is wearing black and purple. We actually see Angie and Aaliyah are in the front row. This felt like a big time, like, sports entertainment WrestleMania matchup. This felt very much akin to the last father and son matchup that we saw at WrestleMania with Vince and Shane back at WrestleMania 17. Because you would get a lot of the outside parties involved in this matchup. Early on, Rey, Dom tries to use his size against Rey, but Rey chucks him out of the ring, telling him that I know about this game. I've been here for a long time. Then he eventually runs Dom into the ring post, and Dom is bent over. So Rey finally whoops his son's ass like he deserves it. The crowd absolutely loved that. Dom goes to the outside to recover, and he gets in his sister's face. He grabs a drink out of her hand and chucks it in her damn face. I was like, this man is such a great dickhead. He's a glorious dickhead. This gives Rey the distraction, trying to hold back Aaliyah, which eventually gives Dom the advantage. He hits a nice little Michinoku driver for a 2. At this point, I have to mention Michael Cole, who was great on commentary in this match. He's yelling, Dom wouldn't be here without Rey. And Graves responds to him, I wouldn't be here without my dad. So that was just a great interaction. It's very rare that Cole and Graves are this good on commentary, but they were very much in this matchup. We get Dom. He goes to the outside and he's getting all cocky. He gets in Angie's face and he basically tells her to shut up again. And Angie slaps the shit out of him. Rey dives to the outside and then he kisses his wife. He then comes in. He hits a springboard crossbody, then hits the seated senton. Damian Priest and Finn Balor at this point come out to assist Dom and be in his corner to root him on. Dom is able to flip Rey into the corner with the alley-oop, which hits the bottom rope. That looked impressive and nasty. The ref quickly checks on Rey. They show Bad Bunny on commentary reacting to that. Dom hits the 3, goes for the 3 amigos, but Rey slips out of it. The first suplex and knocks him into the middle rope. rope. He hits 619. He goes to the top, but Balor distracts the referee and Priest knocks Ray off the top rope. At that point, Legado del Fantasma come out and as aka the LWO come out to take them out of play. Dom hits the 619 on Ray to huge boos. He follows up with the frog splash, but Ray is able to kick out. The crowd is on their feet. Dom goes to expose the top turnbuckle, but as the referee is distracted by that, he goes to Damian Priest, laid his jacket in the corner, and it's revealed that he had a steel chain in the jacket. At this point, Bad Bunny gets off a commentary and takes the chain away from Dominic. Ray hits a drop kick into the middle rope, followed by the 619 and a frog splash to get the win. The crowd went wild for this victory, but this just hit all the storyline beats. This was just this match overachieved probably the most, even more than the Fatal 4-Way match. This was Dom's best match of his career. I definitely enjoyed everything about this. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. And after the match, the Mysterio family celebrates in the ring as Dom and Judgment Day look on, looking very angry. What did you guys think of this one? We'll start with Nate this time. Ray versus Dominic.
Oh man, loved it. This Joe Jackson Memorial Tribute match was amazing, Sid. If you know, you know. And I think the thing that I loved about this match, just from the jump, that we didn't get a lot of tonight, which I was kind of disappointed in, is we got a unique WrestleMania entrance for both guys.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really fun to kind of show that. Kris and I talked a lot about Dom on the show last week, where I feel like there is something here to Dom, right? Like Dom is not some world beater when it comes to the bell to bell, but his character work this past year has just elevated, the ex-con Dom thing. He's growing into this, as you said, Sid, this smarmy dickhead. And he's just so good at this character. The question is, can he be this character outside of Ray? We don't know that, but I think he can. The match itself was just hit all the beats. Ray did a great job of putting Dom in a position to look good and to be elevated even with a loss. I love the LWO involvement. Bad Bunny, we knew Bad Bunny was going to find his way into this, setting up something for Puerto Rico. And then the only thing that surprised me about the match, Sid, was the finish, because I had gone on record to say I picked Dom Mysterio to win the match, but it actually worked out better with Ray winning. You had that moment at the end of the night with Ray and Aaliyah and Angie, and I love, like you said, Michael Cole was on one because he's like, Dominic, this is what you gave up. You could have had a family, and you hanging out with these hoodlums and these ne'er-do-wells.
Bozos, he called them bozos.
These bozos, like I thought emotionally this match hit all the right beats, and it was way better than it had any right to be.
Rich, what about you?
This was, especially tagging off with what Nate just said, this was a wrestling version of a Bronx Tale. Like, he really hit him with the, this was your daddy. Like, it was great. It was great. I love the match. And I joked because this is when the power went out. So I missed this from this point on live, and I had to watch it this morning before we did the show. And Ray and Dominic not only killed it, but you could see how Dominic, when Dominic had that mask on, I was like, this is a tall, brave Mysterio. Like, more than anything else, I was like, this is this kid's legit dad. This isn't just Kurt Angle and my man. Like, this is
Jason
he
Jordan.
looked like Rey Mysterio just hit the grow button, and it was like boom. And I also joked last night on Twitter because I saw Dominic's entrance, and that was the last thing I saw. I was like, this is every WWE wrestler's I'm leaving WWE and I'm going into the Indies video. Only he's going to WrestleMania with it.
Yes.
And this couple with the Hall of Fame the night before, where you got Buddy Matthews sitting next to him, next to Mommy, and then immediately to his left is Aaliyah Mysterio, which he gets the most awkward seat Hall of Fame. And, before I tag out to whomever you want to pass to SP3, I also want to show love to, in that first clip you put, Lieutenant Dan Barry, who was one of the lead prison guard, who always looks like he's this close to retirement, but isn't quite there yet.
I do agree in this chat. Frantic World saying congrats to Ray for the win, but what was with the cinnamon toast crunch thing? I understand WWE has to do their plugs, but this wasn't the match for it. You do that for the Fatal 4-Way, the WrestleMania Showcase. That was the perfect match. That was all spots. That's the place to do it. I understand this is a more high profile match, but it's about a father and a son. It's too realistic.
To be fair, Sid, counterpoint. And I'm speaking from my own personal experience. I can't tell you as a kid how many whoopings from Pops originated at the breakfast table. So maybe they trying to tell us something. You know, you start arguing over a bowl of cinnamon toast crunch and you get your ass whooped. It's cause and effect.
And they had Bad Bunny out there too, SP3. So that's like bonus coverage. Like, oh, Bad Bunny might consider eating cinnamon toast crunch when he doesn't want to do literally anything else. No offense, cinnamon toast crunch, but that man got money. We didn't have money growing up. This was and the only other editor's note I would make is if we can see Brodus Clay's mamas, we needed Mama Mysterio to hit my man upside the head with a chomper. Like that's what he needed. Just needed to catch that like off camera. All of a sudden, you see it hit him in the back of the head, and then she just said, "Yeah, you know who did it."
Someone who's telling me a lot about Chancletas. Josh, we'll go to you next. Josh, what did you think about Ray versus Dominic here?
It was a great match. Better than what I expected because Dom is not the greatest wrestler, but I do agree that this was his best performance. But then also everything all coming together. I think Ray really needed to win the match.
Yeah,
just the way, just because of the buildup. You know, Dom was antagonizing him for months. You know, so Ray winning makes a lot of sense. I know there were some people complaining because Ray is the older guy, so he's supposed to the younger guy over. But I'm like, not in this situation. Yeah, and I think it actually helps Dom a lot more. It helps Dom a lot more than anything. But I mean, overall, it was a great match. The finish was great in my opinion. You know, and pretty much caps off a great storyline that they had.
I don't think this is the cap off though. It felt like I do agree that it felt like
I mean, not the cap off, but like the way that he built it up for this match. Then
yeah.
No, I think it's the end of this story, and now it's going to turn. They're going to work together still, but it's going to turn into a different story now. Is my opinion.
This was kind of the blow off of the Ray doesn't want to fight Dominic portion.
Yeah,
right.
Story. I think we're gonna get the tag team match. Like I see a lot of people in the chat saying that Rey Mysterio and Bad Bunny versus Dom and Damian. Yeah, that writes itself, especially after the finish to this match. But I think eventually maybe we get to like SummerSlam, they do mask versus hair, and that's where Dom gets the big win and takes his dad's mask.
Right. I like this story. I thought this match was great. Anytime if you're in Cali, if you're in the LA area, if you come out with the LAPD or the Inglewood PD, you are gonna get booed. So I thought that was a smart move. You come out with Snoop, you're gonna get cheered. I thought this is easily, in my opinion, I think WWE hasn't really. Snoop is one of the celebrities they've always done all right by in these on-air roles. I thought this was the best he's been in WWE ever. I thought he did a really good job. The problem that I have is not with this match and this contained storyline. Rey Mysterio is a GOAT. And Dominique is not. Rey Mysterio has.
You call him Dominique like he black. It's Dominic.
It doesn't matter what his name is.
We don't know what he learned in prison.
The Rock.
His name's Dominique out the prison. Once he got that teardrop, he Dominique now.
Yeah, Dominique. Yeah. but yeah, I don't know where Dominic goes when he doesn't have Rey Mysterio attached to him. I really, really don't. I think that Rey Mysterio is so good so awesome that he can make this guy relevant during this feud, and I'm not sure that it carries on afterward. But that's a story for another day. As far as this match is concerned, everything about it was great. Cole's commentary was probably the best I've ever heard from him, because I've just historically never liked that guy on commentary, but him just kind of saying what everyone else is thinking about Dominic, I thought it was great. This is WWE storytelling when it's really, really good. So I enjoyed it. I really did.
I agree with you. We got here Magic Man, who says, I just discovered this channel and these hosts. Glad I did. Fun show. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. And hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, because we'll be going live later today for WrestleMania 39 Night 2.
Is that the Magic Man, Garrett Bischoff?
Maybe. And you can join us live tomorrow at 11:05 a.m. Eastern time for our Night 2 review. Wendy, what did you think about Ray versus Dominic, or Dominique, as Kris said?
I thought the match was great. Can I just say, in my opinion, it kind of oversees Vince versus Shane?
I agree. The in-ring work was better.
Yeah, way better. Yeah,
it was. I feel like in-ring was a lot better than the Vince and Shane.
I mean, that's a given when you got Rey Mysterio in the ring.
Well, yeah, it's storytelling at his best. And honestly, I agree with everybody. The match is great, but I'm gonna add this. Michael Cole's commentary. Listening to his commentary, it kind of gives you like he was kind of almost talking like he's your dad, like kind of telling Dom, like, see, I told you went to the wrong crowd. Like, this is what happens when you go to the wrong crowd. Like, you could have had this, but you went the other way. Like, it kind of felt like your dad speaking to you, and that's what, like, it added on to this really good match.
It definitely did. Like I've been saying about Michael Cole's commentary, it's very reminiscent of JR with Triple H. Yeah, how he talks about Dominic is very much got that spirit of JR. How he used to respond to Triple H every time Triple H did stuff to Stone Cold. I love Michael Cole in this role, and his role in this storyline has been tremendous on commentary.
I think Michael Cole in general. I think what it is that Michael Cole wasn't necessarily bad because if you watch like his UK tournament stuff, it was really great. I always thought and then I think also the other stuff that he did, I think, what was it? There was other commentaries that he did with WWE that he's always been good. The problem is that, I mean, when you have Vince in your headset to tell you what to do, I mean, at that point it's kind of like you're on pilot mode. So it's like there wasn't much that he could do, and now because Trips knows what he could do, there's no restraints on him. So I think that's where he's actually been really great as well.
Yeah. I think with Cole too, like he's in this position now that we've got Corey Graves, who is like your number one heel asshole commentator. Cole just kind of gets to be like the friendly uncle.
Yeah.
And especially when you bring Pat McAfee on commentary, Cole is like, I'm into what the kids are into, and I'm gonna give my old man takes on these things that we're watching in the ring, and so he doesn't have to be such an aggressive heel on commentary, and I think that's better for Michael Cole, because there were times where it was just so annoying,
it was aggravating,
and not in a good way, and it was like the wrong kind of heat on Michael Cole.
I agree there.
It wasn't that true heel heat, Sid.
Exactly. You know the spirit. Next up, we had Cole talking about how the next match was a first time ever where in WrestleMania history where the match competitors, the referee, and the ring announcer were all women. So you knew it was going to be historic despite the lackluster buildup. It was Rhea Ripley, the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble winner, going one-on-one with the SmackDown Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair. This one, even though, like I said, the buildup was not the best, it did have that big match energy when they were doing the intros. The first portion of this matchup was really slow. I'm gonna say that it was really slow, and it took some time to really get the fans into it. Charlotte was doing some good stuff, fighting back against Rhea Ripley. Ripley hit a German suplex for 2. Charlotte came back with a backbreaker, clotheslines, and chops. Charlotte went for a flying crossbody, but Ripley rolled through. And when she attempted the Riptide and Charlotte reversed it into an impressive looking DDT, that's when the match really took off and really picked up. We get Rhea Ripley with an avalanche German suplex at one point for a near fall. We get Rhea Ripley with one of the most vicious German suplex I ever seen, a super release German suplex where Charlotte lands flat faced on her face. Oh my God. I was just like, damn, especially when they did the replays of this one. Charlotte comes back with a big boot for a 2 count. Ripley spills to the outside, and Charlotte hits a masterful moonsault, one of the best moonsaults I've ever seen her do. Ripley avoids the spear, and she hits the Riptide for a very close 2 count. Charlotte tried for a small package, which got her a 2. Ripley goes for the prism, and she almost gets the tap out, the standing inverted cloverleaf, but Charlotte was able to slip out. Charlotte got a couple of great near falls on a spear at one point, which really got the crowd into things. She eventually goes for the figure 4, but Ripley is able to get to the ropes before she can really get the submission off. Ripley got a couple of close near falls. They were fighting. It was scrappy towards the end of this one, really picking up in the momentum of this. But the finish was just very well done, where Ripley goes to the outside and Charlotte goes after her. She's looking for a fall away slam off the middle rope. Ripley's able to block it, and she drives Charlotte's face into the ring post. She then gets up top, gets onto the middle rope, and she tells Charlotte, "It's my time now," and she gives her an avalanche Riptide for the 1, 2, 3. This felt like this was worked like a big time main event matchup. It just goes under 24 minutes, and I said it on Twitter, I will say it here. This is one of the best women's matches at WrestleMania. Despite the slow start, it really picked up. They were hitting the big moves at the right time. The SoFi crowd really got into this one and were given the big reactions for the near falls, for the big moves down the stretch. This felt like a cementing of Rhea Ripley as one of the top stars of the company. I gave it 4.5 stars. That's the same rating I've given Bianca Belair and Sasha, as well as Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. So like I said last night in the chat, and I'll say it here, this is one of the best women's matches in WrestleMania history. Wendy, what did you think about Charlotte versus Rhea?
I thought it was amazing. I agree with what you were saying. It started off slow, but it slowly picked up. The interestness between both of them, Rhea coming out and then Charlotte. To be honest, I would say I kind of expected Charlotte to come out in something different, something like to show like she's the queen, bow down to the queen, and and she came in this black like puffer jacket. I don't know. I expected something different from Charlotte. But overall, the match was amazing. They were doing their moves, and it literally cemented Rhea as like she's the top. Like she overcame that mountain. She fought Charlotte before. She wasn't there yet, and then she overcame that huge mountain, which was the queen. So it was a top match of the night.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame anyone who gave this the match of the night. Josh, what did you think?
It was a great match. It did start off slow, but both ladies picked it up. I was glad that Rhea won, just because it tells that story of her getting that redemption.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because some of the women's matches, they usually don't get the best build-ups leading to WrestleMania. I think that's something they still need to work on, because remember, Sasha and Bianca didn't have a great storyline. It was it was involved around the sin.
Yeah.
And and this one was just like almost non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
and they both delivered. So we end up having a great matchup, but I think that's something that they still should work on.
Yes.
But overall, I mean, yeah, it was one of the best matches of the night.
Nate, what did you think?
Yeah, and the build up to both women's title matches at WrestleMania this year have been trash. Let's just put it on the table. Like, the build up to both of these matches has been less than what you would feel is appropriate for a WrestleMania level match. But that being said, we knew that this match was going to be a banger. Like, we knew 3 years ago when they had the match in that during the COVID era, like, it was still a banger. And so now this evolution of Rhea Ripley, you've got Charlotte. Charlotte is constant. I would have liked, to Wendy's point, a little bit more theatrics with her coming in to the arena, but this was just a great match. It was an old school match. It kind of felt, like when Charlotte's daddy fought Lex Luger back in like 88 or 89. Like, it had that kind of feel. And so when you say it was slow at the beginning, Sid, I get that. But I also feel like they were setting something up. Like, they know we've got a story to tell through this match. And also, we're trying to gauge what the crowd is giving us, because Rhea was obviously the babyface in this match, but I don't feel like they were as anti-Charlotte as I would have expected.
Right.
Like, it wasn't like overwhelmingly Rhea's the babyface and Charlotte's the heel. It was like, we love Rhea, but you cool too, Char. But the match itself was physical. It was, it was one of the best singles women's title matches I've seen this company put on. And yeah, they made the right call putting Rhea over. My only slight nitpick, and I get why Charlotte reacted this way in this match, the post match where she's kind of giving Rhea her props. I feel like Charlotte over the last 2 years has seemed to care less about losses from a character standpoint, versus Charlotte when she was, 3 or 4 years ago in her like peak, like where every loss meant something. Going back to some of those matches with Sasha Banks, every loss meant something. Going back to some of those matches against Bayley, this one she's like, hey, you did your thing. You got the juice now, kid. But that being said, man, this was a great match. You easily could have had it main event night one, if not for the match that ultimately closed out the night. So yeah, great job by both women. This is easily the second best match of the night for me.
Let's bring back in Rich. He had to charge the phone. He's back with us. But Kris, go ahead and give us your thoughts on Rhea versus Charlotte.
Oh yeah, I thought it was a fantastic match, and like JM was saying, the problem with the women's matches in WWE is always the build. I remember a few years ago where they did the triple threat match. That match should have been Becky versus Ronda Rousey. That an end of story. They crammed Charlotte into that story, and it really just made no sense from a narrative perspective. And it was horrible. The Sasha Bianca match was didn't have any storyline to it either, but it just came off as better from being just a one-on-one match with these two Black women. This match is kind of the same thing. It's like no storyline going into it, but they delivered. The only reason why I wouldn't have put this match in the main event was because of the build, not because of anything bad that these two women did, but the care and TLC that went into the storytelling of the tag team match wasn't with this match, right? And I think that the people who paid to go to WrestleMania this year came there to see some bloodline stuff, and that's just what it is. I wish next year they'll do it better. Maybe the women can main event both nights next year. Who knows? But it was just such a great match with two of the best. And I theorized a few weeks ago that I think that they didn't go with Rhea and Bianca is because they want Bianca to hold on to the title for a little while longer. And Charlotte was the person that they were going to get the belt off of. And that still might happen. Bianca may or may not win, but I do think they're going to have a banger too. But I thought from beginning to end, this match was why I watch wrestling. I liked it.
We'll bring in our another correspondent here, a seventh on this show, because we're talking about his favorite wrestler. Romeo is here with us, but let's go to Rich next. Rich, what did you think about Rhea versus Charlotte?
I'm not gonna lie, SP3, you ain't had to give me the final boss, like, and then I gotta show up. Like, all of a sudden, the King Romeo shows up, like
The
top corner,
24-hour king.
You just needed to play Roman's theme in the background. Like, it's like, holy crap! What is like a seventh challenger? Like, oh no, oh god! But like for Charlotte, this is probably the greatest match I've seen her in the WWE or NXT. This is her best match as a professional, and I think even though part of it was undone by the fact that she is clearly over being a professional wrestler. She is in the Ric Flair stage, like 20 years sooner in her career. And I respect it. She'll take vacations when she wants. Her and her husband will do what they want when they want, how they do it. Like, I appreciate that sort of freedom from the player/wrestler perspective. But this was the closest I've seen to a stardom match in a WWE ring. The sound that woman made, like if anyone wants to talk about, that's why I want to make it clear. Just because she's over being just a WWE wrestler, the wrestling is so important to her. The sound that woman made when she got German suplexed onto her face is something most humans don't make other than childbirth. Like, that hurt. And she just rallied and kept it moving. The joy, I haven't seen that joy in her face nailing a moonsault since she was in NXT outside the ring. Right. Like, she really had it on one. And even the finish, tying into beating Rhea the last time and then getting into I can't remember what they call Kairi Sane's anchor leg submission. Prism. Okay. I was like, this is some. I was trying to figure. I was like, why did they call it the prism? And then the avalanche. Anytime you add an avalanche to a finish, again, very Japanese ending. And the final thing I wanted to say about this is this cements the fact that as she has been the last year since Edge got jacked, the leader of Judgment Day is now a champion, and that cements the status compared to everybody else.
Right. Oh, and she's got to leave those dorks now. In my opinion,
she can't leave her man. She's a wage earner. She got them championship checks.
It helps the whole stable with her as the champion, and I think she can thrive as the heel if she's against the right.
She's not a heel anymore. She's got to leave those dweebs.
I need at least one or two of those specials where the dude don't have money and they do the hug up on their lady. Like, I need one of those from Dominic. It's like, all right, mommy, I know you got this dinner, right? Like, I know you got me at this ATM, right? Like, I need Dominic to be fully in his scumbag ex-con, completely just, come on, girl, I can't go in that store without them looking at me funny. You gotta get me at least 2 or 3 Doritos. Come on, girl.
I'm an ex-con out here. Romeo, what did you think about Charlotte versus Rhea?
Remember how bad this build was? I don't. Who cares? Who cares? This is why she is the greatest of all time. The GOAT. This is why she has a Legends biography on A&E. When are you people going to give her flowers? She's the greatest. The greatest. What a match. This was historic. Historic. Shout out to Samantha Irvin, Jessica Carr. You were a part of history. You always remember this. Stiff, hard hitting, that DDT, taking each other to Suplex City. The kick out of the Riptide. The crowd was electric. The Riptide off the top rope, the avalanche. It could have went so wrong. It went perfect. Rhea is made. This is the return of the opportunity, Charlotte. The opportunity. She made Rhea. I could see this being a trilogy at WrestleMania. You know how WrestleMania likes their trilogies. I could see this going down part 3 eventually down the line. But when Rhea faces Bianca now, it's gonna mean more because Rhea is now on Bianca's level. She not the Charlotte put her on Bianca's level here. Rhea's been elevated. And you guys are nitpicky. This is the best women's match in WrestleMania history. Better than Bianca Becky. Better than Bianca Sasha. Even better than Charlotte Asuka. The only thing that could top this is Bianca Charlotte next year in Philly. It's the only thing that can top this. 4.5. What? 5 stars. Standing ovation. 5 stars.
You got the worst star rating. You make Dave Meltzer star ratings. He's got the worst star. If it's a great match, it's 5 stars. If it has Charlotte, it's 5 stars. Some people
Romeo trying to get Charlotte have batteries thrown at her in Philly.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what he's trying
This
to do.
is WrestleMania. If you don't see it now, you're gonna see it next year. Bianca Charlotte. Watch. You're gonna see it.
I mean,
Maybe that will be 5 stars because this definitely wasn't. I'll take Bianca and Becky's beginning over Rhea and Charlotte. I had multiple people say it was forgettable. Get out of here.
Oh wait,
Get out of here.
Josh's face. My man was ready for an answer. I felt like he was bubbling over when Romeo had his stuff to say. I could feel it.
Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
I mean, I was just gonna say that. I mean, I respect his weird fandom over Charlotte, but
Yeah.
well, he's full of shit to say that it was 5 stars.
Overcompensating. That's overcompensation for. I get 4.5 stars. That's it. He acts like that's a bad rating. That's that's the proper rating. Because, ladies and gentlemen, especially in WWE, I think in all of wrestling, a part of the star rating is the build up to the matchup, but especially in WWE. So if the build up is not 5 stars, then the match can't be 5 stars.
What I love about Romeo is all of us said it was a good match, and he's like gets on here and says, "You guys are not giving this the praise." Like, stop it, Romeo. Seriously,
Romeo is the Hannibal Buress of this show. He's like, "Why are you booing me? You know I'm right."
He's the Nick Wright for Charlotte.
Nick Wright.
That is correct.
Yes.
That's his new nickname. Scratch the 24-hour king. He's the Nick Wright of True Hill Heat. He is Nick Wright and Charlotte Flair's LeBron James.
I would agree. Like the buildup they need to do better with the women's buildup. If they can take what they do with the buildup with the men and put it with the women, like I feel like the next WrestleMania would be the best. You know, like if they do the same with the men and equally with the women, like they just need to do better.
And then it will be 5 stars. You gotta give them something to achieve, But next up, we had the aforementioned backstage segment with Brian Saxton interviewing Austin Theory. Theory said he made John Cena believe, and he asked us, "Do you believe in Austin Theory now?" Quick answer to this question: no.
Yeah, you made John Cena believe in cashing easy checks. This is what you did.
He definitely did that. Then they announced the attendance.
I think that made him look worse. It did.
Yeah, I won't front. Miz and Snoop Dogg announced the attendance for the show: 80,497, counting everyone that's breathing in the building.
You ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie.
I mean, if you just said 70,000, it still sounds good. You could have been.
Just wait till tonight. Tonight it's going to be like 172,633 and 2/3.
Yeah, that was insane, man.
I was like, I didn't even need Dave Meltzer to tell me that Vince McMahon was behind the headset, because when I saw the attendance, I was like,
yes,
Vince is working. Vince is working tonight, because that is a big upgrade from where they really were.
And Michael Cole earlier in the night was like, sold out crowd, 75,000 here. It's like, dog, how you just gonna contradict yourself?
5,000 to that. Okay. Snoop then says that the only thing better than that number would be if Miz had a match tonight. Miz agreed and mentioned he put out an open challenge all over social media, and he wasn't surprised that no one answered because everyone was afraid of him. But this brings out the aforementioned Punt King Pat McAfee to Michael Cole. Went mental. Michael Cole. Michael
Hercules.
Oh my God. Well, Graves looks so annoyed. McAfee shakes hands with Snoop Dogg. He said he lives on social media and he didn't see Miz issue an open challenge. He wore his WrestleMania tank top and he challenged Miz to a matchup. Miz said he would love to, but he was the host of WrestleMania, didn't have the power to make matches. McAfee said he has his tiny balls is showing, and Snoop says, you know what? I'll make the match since I'm the godfather of WrestleMania. The match is on. We did not need this 3.5 hours into the show. I just wanted to make that clear. But McAfee pretty much dominates this one. He hits a big old spine buster. He knocks Miz to the outside. Miz wants to leave. He even shoves George Kittle of the San Francisco 49ers in the front row, and Kittle jumps over the barricade and gives him a clothesline, protecting his fellow football player. McAfee hits a big dive to the outside, which he just plants on the floor. That was harsh. And then he brings Miz into the ring. He hits the punt for the 1, 2, 3. And Michael Cole said that him and Pat McAfee are the only undefeated commentators in WWE history. I guess the Vince McMahon match last year didn't count against Pat McAfee. I don't know. But Kittle and McAfee celebrate here. This match didn't need to happen. I give it 0 stars. Kris, what did you think?
Yeah. It was there. Yeah.
Nate.
See, you say this match didn't need to be here, SP3. I think it did, because we needed a cool down after the women's match before we ramp back up to the main event. And
I mean, they play 1,001 commercials. I'm just saying, like, what?
There's 1,001 commercials, but there's only one Pat McAfee Sid.
Yeah.
And when you put this man on your show, and I love that Graves called him a shill for Aaron Rodgers because facts. Like McAfee is again in that Logan Paul vein, in that Bad Bunny vein of we'll open up the playbook for these guys. We'll let them do over the top stuff that we won't let the regular members of our roster do. Yeah. And to Pat's credit, like, he gets it. He gets this professional wrestling lifestyle. I dug the inclusion of Travis Kittle. George Kittle. I don't know why I called this man Travis Kittle. I had a Travis Kelce, George Kittle fusion. That's our tag team champions next year. Kittle and Kelce. Who they got? Street Profits. Let's go. But
wait a minute, come out, Nate. You can't have two K and K versus the black dudes for the tag title.
You right. I didn't even think about that. My bad, Rich Fan. I retract that match. I retract that booking.
You're trying to get my man hemmed up. You already did catch a tight end, whatever that tight end, Kelsey's catching Kelsey. Like, nah, you can.
Not on Devontae's watch. Not on Devontae's watch. But the only thing about Kittle that I was kind of confused with, and I was like trying to figure it out. So he had this tank top on, right? And it had like the lettering. And for a second, I'm like, is he advertising Total Extreme Warfare Wrestling? This is a computer game, y'all. I'm going off on a tangent. And it's like you book your own shows. Used to be Extreme Warfare Revenge back in the day, and it's Total Extreme Warfare. I was like, is George Kittle advertising for Total Extreme Wrestling, or is this just like some nutrition brand that he's trying to advertise here at WrestleMania? Either way, the match was short, Sid, and it calmed us down so we can get hyped again for the main event.
Mm-hmm. I could have done with just one more commercial. They did plenty of commercials. That's the come down, ladies and
gentlemen. You wanted another spot for Puerto Rico?
I would have done a Bad Bunny match. Yeah, but it would have been down for that. Rich,
I thought Lashley was gonna come out, but
well, we got Lashley for night 2. Night 2, he's gonna mess somebody up.
Right.
That's just facts. And Nate, for you, that was Tight End University. The thing that he and his dad made for all the tight ends in the NFL.
Okay.
I think the biggest story for this, more than anything, I'm going to be the shill for McAfee. McAfee and Logan Paul were the only 2 wrestlers I see that regularly use the post instead of the corner to make leaps, which is the level of balance and athleticism that freaks me out. And then his flip, the counter where he just landed on his feet, is like, what? I was like, yeah, I forgot. He is a pretty good athlete. Like, don't let the fact he's like got the Richard Simmons starter kit top on right now. Like, that was sweating to the oldie 6. My grandma had that tape. I seen it. I I loved it. I'm full show for McAfee, other than the Aaron Rodgers stuff. That I will not countenance. But the biggest news out of this was we had a coup, folks. Guys, gals, non-binary pals. AEW lost George Kittle. This man, who I have seen every single time that man shows up, he goes 0 miedo. He shows up here and he's like, I was like, you forgot your man from the yard? You in your backyard? That man been wearing your colors on AEW television. He came to the Super Bowl with you. And now you like,
Well, to be fair, Kittle was a huge WWE mark way before anything. Because even
he could at least slip the hand signal in, just real quick.
Because one of his press conferences, I remember he left early because he told them like, "Oh, I gotta go to a WWE pay-per-view, guys." So he literally cut his press conference.
Oh,
someone cutting out.
Yeah, I think George Kittle don't want that information out. So Kittle
kept the mic.
He cutting into just Wi-Fi. Like, nah, they don't need that information, bro. they don't need that info out here in these streets. I see you moving now, Josh. But
hey, I'm saying like, hey, I'm just saying.
Any thoughts on Miz versus McAfee, Josh?
No.
Fair. That's fair. That's fair. Wendy? I guess that's a no.
Wow.
They both.
Yo, I will say, Sid, the one of the best parts of this quote unquote match for me was Snoop on the microphone. Like at the very beginning, like just kind of giving his running commentary as he leaves the ring. I thought that was cute.
He was like, I gotta get out of here. Hold the rope for me.
Yeah, Ref, hold the rope, man.
Yeah.
Hold the rope, man. But let's get into the main event of the evening, and even to hold down the crowd even some more. We had little Uzi Vert with a performance here ahead of the Usos entrance. Owens, we got the Usos coming out. They do the ones up with little Uzi Vert, and then we have Kevin Owens come out first for the babyface team, along with Sami Zayn. Gotta give it up to their gear because it paid tribute to the PWG as well as Super Dragon on their gear. We even get Corey Graves mentioning that they got their start here in America in Reseda, California. He didn't mention PWG by name, but that was close enough. Zayn got a particularly big reaction in the crowd, was singing his song as he came out. You get the big time entrances for everybody involved here, and the intro. This match was another one that kind of started slow, but it was more action packed in juxtaposition to the last big matchup. You get early on, the Usos were just going super kick crazy. They were going super kick crazy. Owens is able to get tagged in and he goes off, but then Sami Zayn is brought back in. They take out Owens with a big spine buster through the commentary table, and then they barrage Sammy with super kicks, and he keeps on kicking out. At one point, Jey Uso was talking trash to Sammy and hitting him with super kicks, saying that he should have stayed with the bloodline, bro. He even hits him with a goddamn Aluva kick, a Jey Aluva kick. That was great. That was one of my favorite moments of this whole match, is that he pulled out Sammy's own move on him. That was some Roman. He was on his Roman Reigns ish with the talking and the dramatics in this one, and then using Homeboy's move on him. Sammy eventually makes his comeback. He hits an exploder into the corner, and then he eventually gets a close near fall on a sunset flip. We get the big dramatics towards the end here, where all four men are in the ring, and we have the big brawling segment with everybody facing off. Eventually, the Usos get control. They they take out Sami on the outside, and then they take advantage of Kevin Owens in the ring. They give him a barrage of super kicks himself, and then hit the double Uso splash on Kevin Owens, but he's able to kick out. Sami Zayn kicks out of the 1D, which is one of the more protected moves in WWE, and the fans were just going crazy. They were buzzing at that point. Then in the end, though, Kevin Owens able to come in. He hits the pop-up power bombs. Sami takes out Jimmy on the outside, and Kevin Owens hits the avalanche fisherman buster off the top rope. He tags in Sami Zayn, and he tells him to finish this. Sami Zayn, they do the close-up on him. This was just WrestleMania dramatics with the facial expressions, the body language, and everything. He hits one haluva kick, and then Jimmy falls into his chest shades of Sami versus Kevin back at Battlegrounds 2016, and as well as War Games, and he picks him up. He puts him back into the corner. He hits a second haluva kick. He then he catches Jay once again, and he tells him that this is it. This is over for you. And Kevin Owens hits the stunner on Jimmy, and then Sami Zayn hits a third haluva kick. 1, 2, 3. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are your new WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions. And this felt like one of the more cathartic babyface wins to end a WrestleMania. Probably the best ending to WrestleMania since WrestleMania 30, when Bryan Danielson won the undisputed WWE Championship. This just felt like everybody was so happy. You had the fans singing, you get the fireworks at the end. This was just a great moment that capped off, in my opinion, and I'm not even going to say Mania history, this is the best tag team match in WWE history. This right here, everything that I said about Charlotte and Rhea, despite the crowd being a little bit quiet and needing to recover very early on, they were able to seek them back in, pulled them back in due to the drama, due to the storytelling, and the nitpick of why Rhea and Charlotte don't get 5 stars. The buildup to this was superb. The buildup was 5 stars. The in-ring work was 5 stars. The storytelling was 5 stars. The finish was perfection. I am going 5 stars for this matchup. Not only the best tag team match in WWE history, it might be one of the greatest WrestleMania main events of all time. Right. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. This felt like PWG ROH versus the best of WWE, where the Usos have the super kicks and the quick tags, where you have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. They have more of the big spots, the big moments. You get the brain buster on the apron by Sami Zayn. That was a callback to his old partner, the now retired El Generico. This was just everything I wanted from this match, and then some. A 5-star WrestleMania main event in every way possible. Wendy, what did you think about Zayn and Owens versus the Usos? I think they're frozen. Kris, what did you think about the main event?
Okay, so I'm gonna give what I thought of the main event, but I do have to kind of tell my story for a second. I was supposed to be working press at Wale Mania. At the very last minute, the homie Emilio Sparks gave me press access. I was supposed to be backstage at that event, interviewing everybody. The Usos were there. Okay. The Acclaim was there. Okay. Jade was there. Naomi was there. I didn't see Omos, but everybody was there.
Not yet, brother.
But I was supposed to be in that area. But my girlfriend didn't have my credentials, and I got there late. So, and Rich knows this, and Nate met my girlfriend. When Nate met my girlfriend, I was still walking around doing things on my own. But Rich saw me at post day, and they just wouldn't let her backstage with me. One of these Negroes I knew in high school. And he was like, he thought like treat me like I was some kind of liar and stuff. So that got on my goddamn nerves. And I didn't get any. I was like looking forward to get these interviews, sending them to Nate, putting them up, and that. That sucked. And then the next morning, Andreas invited me to this black media thing. Rich sent me the link, and then Andreas sent me the formal inbox to my mailbox, and I just was so sick because I was getting sick the whole weekend. By the time I got there, I was like, I tweeted to the Renegade Twins, yeah, I'm gonna interview at this thing and stuff. And when I got there, I was just so goddamn sick that it just was horrible. So that's my WrestleMania weekend story. I'm getting better. Being on this show has kind of helped. So hopefully I get to meet up with some other people, Andrew McCarthy and, whoever else is around. And if I don't, then just next year in Philly. But the match, awesome stuff. I give it 5 stars. It does kind of make up for my horrible day before, but it was just great. This was the match to go on last. Great storytelling from beginning to end. And this just shows you how one good storyline elevates the whole show. And this is how wrestling has historically been. Not everything from the Attitude Era was great. There was a lot of stuff from the Attitude Era that was complete garbage. But because you had Stone Cold and because you had The Rock, it elevated every single thing else, even like the stuff that wasn't so good, So this, I think WWE could ride this momentum for a while. It looks like the bloodline might be breaking up, and I am interested to see what direction these cats move into, because I do think the bloodline thing is kind of ran its course. You never want to end on like a note where people are tired of it. I think now is a good time to go somewhere else if they want to. I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world if Cody loses tonight, but I think I think that the story they need to tell is Cody winning. But yeah, this tag match was everything that it needed to be, in my opinion. Loved it.
Rich, what did you think about the main event here?
I adored it. I thought these guys brought it to a level that you said this is PWG and WWE. We may never get the Bucks versus the Usos or the New Day. We cannot ever get a team like the Briscoes versus them. But we for darn sure got the closest thing we could for this one night. We got Kevin Steen and El Generico's mentee versus the Usos, and they had a chance to get corny and say little Uso vert. I'm glad they didn't do that. They probably had it in his contract. They had they super kick soirees to make sure they didn't get sued by the Bucks with the super kick party. But the story of the fact that Sami, at the end of the day, was Sami's heart. Him not giving up, and then doing 2 hot tags over the course of the match. So that way you get to the finish with Sami. Like you said, the 3 haluva kicks after the J-luva kick, and the snap on that corner exploder, where he was like, "Why don't you just what?" And even the ref checking on him real quick, like, "Did you just kill this man? Like, this Canadian caught a body in Cali. We got to get you out the state." But I had argued on the torch that the Rumble winner needs to be the main event, but with the way the women's storyline had been botched, it would have done a disservice to Charlotte and to Rhea to have been in this spot. This deserved to be there. And the weight of the main event at WrestleMania was not only weathered by a guy like Kevin Owens, who went from never knowing if he was going to get signed by this company to now having 3 key WrestleMania matches between Steve Austin last year and now. Like, I got nothing but praise for it, man. I think this made the entire WrestleMania like just the explosion it needed in the main event.
Absolutely. I see Wendy and Josh are back now. Wendy, what did you think about the main event?
It was amazing. It was like it all came into a full circle, from the beginning, from how Kevin Owens and how they were tag team partners, and then from PWG and then to Ring of Honor. Okay.
It's the Usos messing y'all up. The Usos trying to break into your Wi-Fi now. There we go. I think y'all back.
That 4 Us.
That 4 Us, yeah. Us is little Usi's vertin on the Wi-Fi. Go ahead, Wendy.
No, I was just saying how how the journey that they had, from to this, it was amazing. I love the match. It was very emotional as well. I really loved it.
Yeah, like I said, I think this had some of the best facial expressions that I've seen. And Sami Zayn selling, he sold those super kicks like he was Terry Funk, where he did the junk tumble into the ropes. Yo, I was loving the selling of Sami Zayn in this matchup. Josh, what did you think?
I mean, it was a great match. The only thing for me is that this is what I was telling everybody. I was like, this is what needed to happen. Instead of everyone wanting Sami to get shoehorned into the world title match, I'm like, no, this was, to me, this was more worth it than that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was talking about that after like the last couple of weeks where they really kind of integrated Cody into the whole bloodline story, and they saw where the direction was going, and it delivered. It delivered in every way possible. Kris?
And yeah,
go ahead,
add on.
No,
I was gonna add on that. That's the one thing that Triple H did great, that he didn't really get swayed by the crowd. They found a way to navigate what they wanted to do, what story they wanted to stick with. So I give him credit for that as well. Like, he stuck to his guns and not change everything last minute.
Kris?
Oh, I already gave my
yeah.
So.
My bad. Nate?
Yes, yeah. I mean, Kris is also, my multiverse doppelganger.
I'm sorry. I'd be going in different. I'd be trying to go into order of some way, but God, Nate.
When I think about this match, SP3, I'm not one to just casually throw around star ratings. Rich Fann knows this. I'm not throwing around star ratings like singles at Magic City. I don't do that. But when I think about this match, I think about the Loonies, Sid. Because I got 5 on it. This match was amazing, to use Wendy's word. This match was, I feel like Martin Scorsese, like this was cinema. Like this was storytelling, and Kris and I always talk about like the heart of wrestling. As much as we love, a great bell-to-bell match, it's storytelling. Did you make the audience feel something? Did you provoke emotions? Did you make a connection with the audience? And this whole bloodline story, which we talked about, Sid, a month or so ago, the bloodline story is easily top 5 all-time WWE stories, and the journeys that we've gone on through this story. And at the core of it, you're talking about a family and a family business and who is part of the family. And so, like the Jay stuff and the Sammy stuff and the Jimmy stuff, like it just works. And so we've got a match that I think everybody knew what the outcome of this match was going to be, but to know the ending of the story going in and still be enthralled with the story, that's good storytelling. And I think, there were several points in this match where we had the Usos getting heat, where we had like an extended section in the middle, which I call the Passion of the Zayn, where they just beat the brakes off of Sami Zayn for like 5 minutes. And it's like, well, damn, like somebody stop this. Somebody do something to help this brother. And then we get to the end, and it's that emotional resonance between Sami and Jay and the 3 haluva kicks. And we got new champions, which we knew we were going to get new champions, because this whole weekend, is about the story of the bloodline kind of crumbling. Much to Chris's chagrin, because I heard that Devontae slander earlier. You ain't slick, brother.
I didn't do any Devontae.
I heard. I didn't hear it.
Speaking of which, at Wale Mania, Emilio called him Devontae.
Yes, we done made it, Mama. We done made it.
Everything Ebony all at once. That's the new movie from Devontae
Yes.
Rhodes coming to
Yeah.
cinemas.
Yes, that's the only thing I was waiting
because when they mentioned Cody, the audience was booing him at first, and then Amelia was like, "Black folks don't like Cody Devontae."
Yes.
I was cracking up, man.
Like that's the only thing that was missing from that promo, the go home promo on SmackDown when he quoted Tupac. I was waiting for him at the end when he was like, and that man is Cody Rhodes. I was waiting for him to slip into Devontae. I was like, is it happening? Has Devontae made it to the masses? But not quite, not yet.
Gotta save it for the post WrestleMania Raw where he's like, nah.
But yes, this tag match was
here.
it was fantastic, SP3, and I think, kind of pulling this back to the macro of the 2-night WrestleMania. Last year, night 1 was so front loaded that it made night 2. You kind of felt like, it's still WrestleMania, but we'd already seen the best stuff. I think they did a good job this year, at least so far, of making both nights feel special, and the main event really elevated, this first night of WrestleMania, I think.
Yes, for sure. We got to thank Magic Man with a super chat donation, just saying cheers. Appreciate you, good brother. Thank you for the love. Thank you for all the rest of your comments in the live chat. We got Ashvanash with an interesting question saying, do you think KO and Zayn will appear in the main event of night 2? I think if they want to replace Benoit and Guerrero, end the night with Cody, Sami, and Kevin in the ring with all the titles.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do it. That's how you do
the
it,
vision.
man. That'll do it. Marcus Ryan saying that was the first tag team title match main event in Mania history, and it was amazing. Yes, it was like we're all saying, this was perfection in every way possible. But that's gonna bring us to the end. Sound off in the live chat. Last call for super chat donations. Give us your match of the night, MVP, LVP. If you gave the show thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, and out of 10, what did you give the show overall? Everybody, let's put our thumbs in the middle for WrestleMania 39 night 1 in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. 3, 2, 1. I'm going 2 thumbs up. Like I said at the top of the show, one of the greatest WrestleMania events I ever remember. Wendy, out of 10, what did you give the show?
Oh damn. I give it 8.5.
That's good. Josh?
I give it a 9.
Okay.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm giving it an 8.5 too. There was a few corny things that I could have did without, but 8.5 is where I land.
Nate?
I feel like I'm about to be the true heel, and maybe I'll get some heat off of this, Sid, because I really enjoyed night 1. But I know, this the setup for what's going to happen in night 2, so I got to leave room because they can't both be 10 out of 10s. So I'm going to give night 1 a 7.5 out of 10.
That's low in my opinion. You're not giving it enough.
You got to give him room to grow.
That's true. Rich?
Maybe if Charlotte came to the ring in a helicopter, I would have bumped it up a notch.
There you go.
See, if she stole The Rock, the tongue. Like if she had done something like that, yes, I would have been all up. But I'm gonna go with 8. I feel like kind of like what Nate's saying. I will fully admit, and I'll even put this because I'm going to put the same number when we do the Torch newsletter roundtable. I will fully admit my bias is implicit and explicit, and that Devontae will determine how the rest of the night 2 goes for me in a rating. So WrestleMania, Vince, Triple H, no pressure.
I'm going to agree with Josh. I think this was a 9 out of 10 show. This was one of the best WrestleMania events I ever remember. I don't remember the last time I gave a 5 stars to a main event of WrestleMania. It's been quite some time since I gave 5 stars to any main event of WrestleMania. Match of the night, I'll start it off. Main event.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Josh.
I was going to add on. No, I was gonna add on because last year night one I gave 8.5, and night one arguably had like two of the best matches they had. They had the Becky, Bianca, then it followed up with Cody and Seth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they had that momentum because of that, and I think night two kind of deflated a little bit,
Yeah.
mostly because of that Vince spot that kind of like ruined the momentum, at least for me.
Yeah.
This year, the reason why I give it a 9 is because of the stories,
Mhm.
Dom and Ray storyline, and how the main event finished. To me,
Yeah.
I give it a 9 based off of that. And tonight, like I said, like I was saying last night, I was just like, tonight has a momentum of even being better than night one, which when they started doing these two shows, night one has been a lot better than night two. So I think they
Yeah.
did well with the card. It's just a matter of how they're going to execute it tonight.
It's true. It's true. I don't know. I mean, I think it's all going to depend on if the Intercontinental three-way lives up to the expectations, and Cody and Roman, and how Asuka and Bianca overcome their lackluster build. I think all of those things is going to be dependent on how I rate night two. But I give 9 out of 10 for this one. Match of the night, main event. Like I said, one of the greatest WrestleMania main events of all time. Rich?
I second that. Definitely tag match was match of the night for me.
Nate?
I mean, it is the tag match, but I'm gonna say the women's match just because somebody's got to represent Romeo right on these streets. So I'm gonna go with Charlotte and Rhea.
Oh my God, we're getting that copywritten, Romeo. Romeo right. That just sounds correct. Kris?
I'm gonna go with the tag match as well, just because of all of the build and leading up to that fantastic match. There's no way I could give it to anything else.
Wendy?
I want to say the tag match, but I'm gonna go somewhere different. I'm gonna go with, to me, the match that I enjoyed was the Seth and Logan.
Oh,
Don't blame you.
I'm
Don't
gonna
blame
go
you.
Seth
That would
and Logan.
that would be third on my
Yeah,
list.
that was
Any of
my.
those matches.
I actually picked that last night for match of the night. I'll stick with it. Seth and Logan. I mean, I did love the main event. It was great, but I'm like, you know what? Since I picked the match last night, I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm not gonna change it.
That's true. That is good. MVP, I'm gonna go with Rhea Ripley. I think her victory she gained the most. And since I gave the match of the night to the main event, even though I think the Usos deserve a bunch of load of credit, going from barely being able to get on WrestleMania cards to being in the main event and giving us one of the greatest tag team matches of all time. But I'm gonna go with Rhea Ripley for this one. Wendy?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna go with Rhea. I'm gonna go with Rhea. I agree. Rhea. And yeah, and if I had to pick like a honorable mention, I would say the Rey Mysterio and Dom. I think they to me, I feel like they would be MVPs too, because they pull off a really great match, and I give credit to Dom, to going in there and having a match with his father, which I don't think is not that easy, but I give them an honorable mention.
Josh?
I'm gonna go with Rhea. I'm gonna go with the main event. All those guys that are involved in the main event. And I'll go with KSI for taking that bump.
Nate?
I'm with Wendy on this one because I think obviously you got to show love to the 4 men that win the tag match. You got to show love to Shar and Rhea, but to me, it's Papi Mysterio because Rey Mysterio brought this boy up and took Dom to the next level. And again, it had everything I love from a WrestleMania match. The elaborate entrances, the kind of the over the top moments in the match. We had the LWO come out here and do their thing. Bad Bunny was in the mix, the Judgment Day. So yeah, to me, Rey was the nucleus that kept everything spinning around him in this feud and in this match. So I got to give it to Ray.
Kris?
I'm gonna go a little different. I'm actually gonna give it to Charlotte, just because of her WrestleMania trajectory, I really didn't. I remember hating that she beat Asuka those years back. I thought that was just a horrible look for the company to
It was.
just build this woman up and then just have her lose to Charlotte in such an undramatic, stupid way. Horrible stuff. And then the way they just kind of insinuated Charlotte into the Ronda Becky feud. I really thought that was horrible. And the match wasn't good. And but tonight I thought, or last night, they redeemed themselves with that match. Charlotte did, especially. Charlotte showed what her value is, even in losing that match. I thought that Rhea got elevated, and it was a meaningful elevation, and it was a meaningful loss, unlike the stupid crap they gave her in previous WrestleMania. So I got to give it to Charlotte.
MVP, Rich.
Yeah, I go with Charlotte. I think she put the most on the line in terms of in-ring stuff. She gave Rhea a lot, and some of it wasn't the safest, but she still did it. And I guess I would say it would be probably co-MVP with Jey Uso, because as you mentioned earlier, SP3, he got to do the baby Roman screen test to see how he can handle things when the big man's away for a few months.
It is true, yo. He was probably the MVP of that whole entire match. He was the glue that really put it all together. And LVP, I got a few. I'm sorry, guys. Austin Theory, John Cena. Well, no, not John Cena, because he got a check and he got.
Yeah, don't do that to John Cena, man.
Austin Theory, Bailey, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Damage Control. Those I have a 4 MVP. I mean LVP for that one.
You got the 4-way LVP.
4-way LVP. Kris, who's your LVP?
Mine is John Cena, man. I like John Cena, but come back for something meaningful. I know it's easy money, but this was bullshit. This was a joke. This is John Cena's returns are starting to increasingly mean less, and I don't think that's where he should be at right now. And I hated everything about that Austin Theory match. Austin Theory is the same joke yesterday that I'm gonna think he is today, that I'm gonna think he is tomorrow. Austin Theory needs something, but John Cena, man, just what the fuck are we doing, my dude?
Wendy, LVP.
I would say that Austin Theory John Cena match. I expected a lot more, and mind you, I was a John Cena mark. I was a John Cena groupie. I was a fan. I expected a lot more. I thought Cena would take this as like if he would have took it as if he would have when he fought Roman. Like, like every match should be like a main event, Mania. And for him like to just do what he did, I was just like, oh, like all right. Like,
it seems more. It seemed kind of meticulous, man. It seemed like he was setting this dude up, Like,
yeah,
he's calling sabotage. He's sabotage.
That's why I ain't giving him an LVP. I'm giving LVP to Austin Theory for falling for that.
Yeah. He fell for the okie doke. Like he literally said, "You gain nothing if you beat me," and then he beat him in the.
And then it happened.
He beat him in the cheapest way possible, and it didn't mean anything.
The only thing it's gaining from is the casuals. And even with that, it's like, you know, a lot of casuals are not very smart. So, I mean, that was their goal. I mean, hey, more power to you. But on the long run, does it do anything for Theory? I personally don't think it does anything for him.
Yeah, I will add that co LVP. I'm agree with Sid. Damage Damage Control. They need to do something with Damage
You know, it's
Control.
funny.
They
I
need to do
I totally
something.
forgot about them, but I
They
think
need
they're
to
like
do
LVP
something.
every
Throw
night. So it's
the
not.
whole
Yeah,
stable away.
like I
You
love
can recycle it.
I love
You
all
can recycle it and get me an EO, but throw the whole stable away. They're at that.
like I
point,
love all
breaking up.
three of them. I love all three women, but like, come on, you coming back with a name called Damage Control? Like, hello, like throw some damage. Like, why every losing?
The thing that pissed me off the most is when Michael Cole was bigging them up during their entrance, saying, "Oh, they've came together at SummerSlam and they've dominated." I was like, "What? What are you fighting for?" I was like, "I know there's people that just watch WrestleMania and don't watch the rest of the year, but think about the people that watched it." So, no, they haven't. Rich, who's your LVP?
My OVP would have to be first Romeo. I'm gonna disagree with the Cena did for Theory because of the fact that Rock had a lot of money on the line and a dude he didn't necessarily respect. Cena had nothing on the line other than the fact he's doing his boss a favor.
Yeah.
Like, you could see the disdain he had for Austin Theory, especially when he said the stuff about they want you to be another me.
Right.
And I don't see you, like, as much as we talk about, like, I'm gonna be real for as much as we talk about like the stuff on screen, we don't hear nothing about Austin doing those charities. We don't hear nothing about Austin doing none of the other stuff that Cena did to be Cena. So I could see him saying, if you want to do all this, but then not that, I ain't got time for you. Even cut a check to make a wish.
Like
and
this
I'm good.
This victory, like, it's like it would have been better if Austin Theory lost. To me, this win is a downgrade. Like it makes Austin Theory looks like a bigger dork than I already think that he is.
Yeah. It comes out as one of those things where, you know, like back in the day, you know, you had a couple of wrestlers like George Goulas, like, you know, George Goulas is in the ring, you know, Cornette talks about it, other folks talk about it, and he's in the ring and he's like, Daddy says sell. This felt like what Theory walked up and was like, Daddy, Vince said you got a job to me. He's like, all right. Like you could hear, like Cena usually you could hear him calling spots out, but he was telling him to do things over because it's like, what you do?
I heard him call for the sleeper. The sleeper. He was like, sleeper. I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna slow this down because clearly you did this like triple roll to drop kick me, and I'm like, I look stupid taking this.
Yeah,
like at least when Kevin Owens came out, Sami Zayn came out, all these other dudes I wrestled back in the day, we had something going. You just coming out and doing boop, 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 boop. Like he's doing like TikTok dances and then punching him in the face, and he's supposed to respect that. I'm like, I feel bad for him. Like even making that money, but that's me. That's me. So LVP, I definitely got to give it to the Theory.
Nate?
Couple things. First of all, we could always give LVP to Damage Control on any of these premium live events, but after a while, it's like it's the reason why LeBron, you know, doesn't have 10 MVPs because theoretically you could give it to him every year, but you got to give somebody else some shine. So Damage Control, you know, maybe the LVP should be named after them in their honor because they're so great at being minimally valuable.
Control LVP. Yep, you might be on to something.
The Damage Control LVP award. But I got to push back on something Kris said about this man, John Peacemaker Cena, on these streets. like, what did you do this for? First of all, he did this for the check. Second of all,
I know.
We've all had this experience at the job where you got to work with somebody who you know is underqualified for the position that they're in.
Yeah.
You know, they're not working as hard as you are. You know that they're the boss's favorite. And it's like, I'm going to work with you because I'm professional, but you ain't getting 110%. I'm going to give you like 64% and you're going to be happy with it because this is all you getting tonight, kid. And so it's like, yeah, I feel like the difference between Cena, you know, and some of those other matches he had with guys when he was coming back is A, he was motivated to work with those guys because he saw something in them. And then B, like this WrestleMania weekend, like there's not a lot of space for anything other than stuff surrounding the bloodline. Like they are the headliners. So this was not like a John Cena moment. You know what I mean? This was John Cena doing the company a favor, helping out some Make-A-Wish kids, getting his check. And then he probably didn't even stay for the whole show. He probably dipped. You know what I'm saying? Like John Cena put in his time, he got his money, and he went home. So the real LVP, as has been stated numerous times on this program, is Austin Theory. Theory unproven. Theory unproven, as Rich Fann said. You know, because not only did you win a match that didn't really give you a great momentum boost, but then you came back and tried to run it back with the interview backstage. And it just felt like, we saw what happened like an hour ago, Theory, and we still aren't buying this. We still don't believe you. You need more people, Austin Theory. So it's like Theory, come on.
I'm changing mine to Austin Theory now.
That's why I said it before you even gave your answer, Chris. I was like, John Cena can't be the LVP. He got the check. He did 3 moves. Yeah, and then he had to go home early.
Even though I don't like Austin Theory, I still want to see. This reminds me of like Jericho versus Fandango. Where like it's so worthless. Like we look back on that with laughter and hilarity, you know. And this, to me, this Austin Theory match defines him down so much. And then that promo that Nate just brought up, my Jesus, man, that was like that was like solidifies. Okay, if you thought I was lame earlier. What? Hold my beer, because I could get lamer, and it was just horrible. Yeah. So Austin Theory's my LVP.
Thank you so much to Marcus Ryan in the chat, who said, great show, guys. Just subscribed on Patreon. Appreciate you for that. See y'all later for the watch along. The watch along starts 6 p.m. Eastern time tonight for night 2 of WrestleMania 39. I'll be back here on the channel tomorrow, 11:05 a.m. Eastern time, for our night 2 review. Nate, you're still joining me for that, right?
Yes. Here's the thing, Sid. I'm gonna make this conditional. It's all contingent on the main event, because I don't know if you know this about this man, SP3, Rich Fann, but this man has been slandering the good name of Cody Devontae Rhodes, the man that founded AEW, the man that ended racism, the man that made wrestling cool again for the people, for all the people, no matter what you look like. He did that. Cody did that, so you wouldn't have to go through that. And Sid has been bashing this man's name for months and years and dragging his name through the mud. He told us why on the NWA podcast he feels this way about Cody. So I understand that, but at some point, Sid, you just have to embrace what's going on. So if Cody wins, I will be here, Sid. If for some reason Cody loses, I might have some technical issues. I ain't gonna be able to make it, but I send my regards.
Wait a minute. On this, the second day of Devontae History Month, you mean to tell me that SP3 is throwing slander at a king like this?
Talk to him, Rick.
A man he brought Sami and Kevin a better version of the second half of the PWG foursome. Mount Rushmore separated. Oh, Romeo with me too. All right, so he brings them together. He tried to help Kenny and the Bucks, but he had to ascend. He's like, my journey, brothers.
To end their friendship. What are we talking about?
Did you see what happened? He leaves, and all of a sudden they beating people up. It's biting dogs and biting people, and people biting people. But if Cody was there, they all would have had a nice cigar and read the good book, and everybody would have went to bed before midnight.
There you go.
Those two Christian boys haven't been the same since Cody hasn't been able to give them their scriptures, a hug, and a soda.
He was the first one who was trying to send subliminals at CM Punk. Don't get me started on that. Rich Fann, thank you so much for joining us, good brother. Let the people know where they can follow you on social media, good sir.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Twitter at Rich_Fan. That's where I put a lot of my stuff up. I work for the Pro Wrestling Torch, so I do columns every month, and I will be doing my audio, the deep dive with Rich Fann and Will Cooling. Everything with Rich Fann, hosted by Wade Keller. And then, of course, where I started the East Coast cast with my man, Travis Bryant. Shouts to my man, Cam Hawkins, who has been all over these California streets, rolling into, Ice Cube's son and running into all sorts of having legends like Trish Stratus say, hey, babe, what's up? So all that's fun. That's great for Cam. For me, I'm holding it down. I unfortunately can't pop in and look at your awesome watch along tonight because I will be working at school till about 2 a.m. Like I'm on the ring crew. putting down a production because we got Carly Rae Jepsen coming through. I didn't know that woman had more than one song, but bless her. So that's it. Thank you for having me on. I always look forward, and I will have you and Miss Chrissy on the show as soon as my school life doesn't like interact with my wrestling life.
Don't worry, we will be there, good sir. Kris, let the people know where they can follow you, sir.
Okay, yeah, you can follow me at KMEasyDoesIt. And then on WrestleNomics as well. I'm part of the Post Wrestling family, Kings of Sport, all that good stuff. And yeah, this WrestleMania weekend was not what I wanted it to be, but being on this show has brought me back up because yeah, I was really feeling crappy on Thursday and Friday. I felt even worse. But I'm glad to be on this show and interacting with y'all. And hopefully next year in Philly, I can see everyone and if I'm still feeling sick, I could get my wife then, because she'll be my wife by then, on the credential list with me, the media list with me, because yeah, this shit was a nightmare, but love being on True Hill Heat with y'all.
We appreciate you, good brother. Glad we can uplift you with talking trash about Austin Theory. Nate, let the people know where they can follow you.
Yes. Always a pleasure, Sid, to link up with you and the crew. Despite your Devontae slander, we still family, brother. I just want to say thank you for having me, man, and having me with such luminaries as my brother, the Professor Kris from LA, and Rich Fann. And then again, y'all got to think about the messages you're receiving in media. When Rich had his one shot, I noticed, I peeped it because I'm a keen observer. Rich switched locations, and he was in a room that had a ceiling fan. So Rich Fann was trying to tell y'all that with this brother Rich Fann, anything is possible. You can go to the top. You can go to the ceiling of your abilities when you listen to this man, Rich Fann, what he's talking about. You can go to the ceiling when you listen to Kris and see him go on one of these rants on the Nubian Wrestling Advocates. You can go to the ceiling when you hear SP3 and Chrissy Love and the rest of the True Hill Heat family, even Romeo Wright, give their opinions on the world of pro wrestling. And so this is always a big week for any of us that love wrestling and cover wrestling and pontificate about wrestling, man. Night one was fantastic. I'm excited to be able to join you again tomorrow, Sid, where we will talk about a great moment in history in general, but particularly in the history of our culture, Sid, because this man Cody Devontae Rhodes is going to finish the story. If you want to hear more from me, I'm part of the Kings of Sport. Patreon.com/Kings of Sport. If you're already showing True Heel Heat some love, as you should, on their Patreon, show some love to the Kings of Sport. $5 gets you in the door. We've been doing this since 2013. So last month officially marked our 10th anniversary. So I've got some things in the works and the plans to celebrate that as the year goes on, if I can get a moment away from the shoot job. But Kris is part of the Kings of Sport. Andrew Thompson, part of the Kings of Sport. We're also over at Post Wrestling with the Nubian Wrestling Advocates, as well as the Rocky Maivia Picture Show, which is a movie podcast about the films of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But for everything else, man, follow me on Twitter at @8 MOZAIK at Nate Mosaic. And see it again, man. I thank you for bringing me on the show, man. There's so many great seasons in our lifetimes. We got winter, spring, summer, fall. Some people may say autumn. We got football season, basketball season, baseball season kicking off. But to me, this is the greatest season of all, ladies and gentlemen, because it is Devontae season.
You say Devontae, I say Daniel. Anyway, go ahead, Wendy, Josh. Let the people know where they can follow you.
You can follow me on Instagram at Evalise221. Evalise21. I pop in here and there on watch-alongs and reviews.
You can find JamPunk321 Twitter and Instagram. Nate, if it makes you feel better, I might wear this shirt tomorrow. It's a shirt I made a couple years ago. Cody holding up a baby fist.
Yes.
Please do.
Yes.
I want you to wear it. I want you to wear it. That is one of the greatest shirts that Josh has ever made. That was at the peak of my vendetta against Cody Rhodes. Yes, right there. Yes, you can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at True Hill Heat. Like you said before, patreon.com/True Hill Heat. Just $3 a month gets you in the door. Extra exclusive content, as well as the True Hills Prediction Championship, which ends tonight with WrestleMania Night 2. Can somebody catch me and take away my second championship? We'll find out after tonight's WrestleMania Night 2. Go to twitch.tv/True Hill Heat Gaming. Romeo's about to go live with a WrestleMania pre-show, watching classic WrestleMania matches. So check all that out and join us live here tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern time for Night 2 watch along. Join us tomorrow, 11:05 a.m. Eastern time for the Night 2 review. So for Nate, for Rich, for Professor Kris, for Wendy, for Josh, thank you guys so much. Thank everyone in the chat for joining us, everyone who watched us live, everyone watching us on demand. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been our WWE WrestleMania 39 Night 1 Roundtable Review. We are signing off until